Sending on behalf of the people of Mozambique our heartfelt condolences to the peoples of the sisterly nations of Morocco and Libya for the tragedies that befell these two sister African countries. I take this opportunity to reiterate the Mozambican people and government's gratitude for the unanimous vote for the election of Mozambique as a non permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. Our participation at the Security Council has enabled us to share our experience in peace building and national reconciliation, thus contributing towards fostering international peace and security. Mr. President, Your Excellencies, in September 2015, at this very hall, we adopted the Sustainable Development Goals that encapsulate the Agenda 2030. As leaders, we committed on behalf of our peoples the commitment to reduce poverty in 16 key areas and establish a better world for all without leaving no one behind. The progress report that we considered yesterday at the high level panel shows clearly that the world continues to be faced with various interconnected crises that undermine the delivery of the Agenda 2030. Indeed, the COVID 19 pandemic crisis, natural disasters arising from climate change, and armed conflicts, including terrorism and violent extremism, causes millions of people to continue living under poverty without adequate food and without access to education, food, and health services. It is true that the adversities I have referred are a cause for regression in progress that we were making in the implementation of Agenda 2030 since 2015. However, the main reason for lack of success of this agenda remains the absence of trust and solidarity between those who have a lot and those who have little or almost nothing at all. Even among those who have a lot, rather than building trust and solidarity, they spend their resources uh, in investing in a competition fueled by trust. Therefore, I commend Your Excellency Dr. Dennis Francis, chairperson of this session, for the theme you have suggested to us on rebuilding peace, revitalizing global solidarity. It is a critical theme to realize Agenda 2030 on sustainable development towards peace, progress, and prosperity for sustainability of humanity. Your Excellencies, in my statement, I'll try to focus attention on peace and security, counterterrorism, climate change, energy transition, blue economy, and environmental conservation in tandem with the theme of this General Assembly. On peace and security, on peace and security, various regions of the world are grappling with a very vicious cycle of armed conflicts and instability, particularly in Africa. Thousands of precious lives are lost. The number of refugees and internally displaced persons have increased to more than 50% in the last year, despite multilateral efforts of several peace initiatives at the United Nations Security Council level and regional organization. War in Ukraine and other regions prevail and endanger peace, security, and global economy. My own country, Mozambique, experienced cycle of armed conflicts, sometimes triggered by forces alien to national interests, but its settlement has been possible only based on constructive dialogue founded on trust and mutual respect. That is how we adopted the new Provincial Decentralization Act in now under implementation. Uh, and in August 2019, we signed the Peace and Reconciliation Accord, also known as Maputo Accord. In June this year, we closed the last camp of Renamo, a formerly armed opposition party, marking the conclusion of the disarmament and demobilization phase. The crucial phase that follows is the reintegration of ex-combatants into the society, including payment of pensions, although not provided for by law. I would like to express our gratitude as this process counts on the support of the United Nations and other multilateral and bilateral partners. Terrorists, Excellencies, while we seek to close one chapter of the peace and national reconciliation process, Mozambique is confronted by the nefarious phenomenon of terrorism, particularly in Cabo Delgado province in the north of the country. In March this year, during Mozambique's rotational chairpersonship of the Security Council, we had the opportunity to share at length our experience of countering terrorism. On one hand, our strategy focuses on strengthening combat operations by the Mozambican Defense and Security Forces with an initial support of the Rwandan contingent and SADC multilateral force, also named SAMIM. We have been achieving tangible success on the ground, though terrorists continue to create terror and fear in sporadic way in isolated villages. With the improvement of safety and tranquility, populations have been returning in large numbers to their home areas, resuming their normal life. This is a pioneer experience of combining bilateral and multilateral interventions. It is also an example of solution of African problems first by the Africans themselves. However, the issue arising is the need for a substantial support to these countries that, uh, in a direct manner, uh, countering terrorism with us in Mozambique in order to render the ongoing operation sustainable. At this juncture, the challenge is reconstruction of infrastructures and consolidation of social cohesion, whose actions are uh, undertaken within the framework of Northern Region Resilience and Integrated Development Program, PREDIM, which counts on the support of partners. We would also like to uh, appeal uh, for your solidarity in this other component of countering terrorism. Climate change. Climate change constitutes the main crisis of mankind of this century. This is not a new discovery. Therefore, many species around this subject almost repeat themselves. For a number of decades ago, scientific evidence shows that our planet is at the eve of climate catastrophe. However, despite this evidence and commitments assumed yearly during various conferences on climate change, the situation has been aggravating. The same applies to conflicts. The cause for climate change is lack of confidence or trust, solidarity associated with selfishness of some countries. Countries uh, that pollute the enriching of these countries is costing the price of disgrace for countries that contribute less with pollution that coincidentally are the poorest country. As a consequence, heat waves, cyclones, floods, droughts, earthquakes, the rise of the sea level, uncontrolled fire, and other extreme phenomena have become increasingly frequent all over the globe. In the case of Mozambique, due to its geographic location, the country suffers cyclical of the devastating impact of natural disasters. The latest largest cyclones, Idai, Kenneth, and Freddie, caused hundreds of losses of life, highly costly damages and losses to the tune of billions of dollars. So far, we have not yet been able to recover just one third of damages recorded. However, support from partners have been well below the pledges and beyond the requirements. In many cases, when these assistance comes, partners have preferred to manage the funds outside agreed mechanisms with the government, causing overlaps in areas of programs which have little impact on the communities. As a consequence, substantial portion of funds uh, are spent in capacity building, conferences, bureaucratic issues, rather than allocating funds to affected people, which once again shows lack of trust and solidarity. As a way of mitigating the suffering of the people, we have been promoting domestic solutions towards consolidating a disaster management system with the involvement of public, private stakeholders, civil society, and local communities, focusing on prevention and adaptation. This way, we have managed to reduce the impact of natural disasters, a fact that has merited the recognition of Mozambique at SADC, African Union, and UN agencies. Mr. President, Excellencies, energy transition. Energy transition is a global imperative aimed at building more resilient and sustainable societies. However, we advocate that energy transition should be fair and must work as a launchpad to enable poor countries to find a window of opportunity in the diversification of the energy mix in order to consolidate their economic base. Energy transition requires large investments in power generation projects from clean sources. Once again, uh, we invite the most industrialized countries to be more to show more solidarity by implementing their climate fund commitments. Mozambique is a regional reference for the diversity of its energy matrix that includes hydropower dams, in particular Kaurabasa, solar power stations, and wind power stations, and construction works for Mpanda Ukua are now underway. Last year, Mozambique joined the group of liquefied natural gas producing and exporting countries, an important step towards accelerating energy transition. Currently, the energy sector is dominated by hydropower with a capacity of 2,172 megawatts, solar with namely with 95 megawatts, gas 441 megawatts, and diesel with 120 megawatts, with the possibility of operations of Temane Thermal Power Station over the last quarter of 2024, with the capacity of 450 megawatts and with a longer maturity cycle, the new Mpanda Nkuwa hydropower station with a capacity of 1,500 megawatts to be generated by 2030. Likewise, Mozambique bets on the development of blue economy to optimize resources from the extensive exclusive economic zone along the coastline of 2,700 kilometers. Environment conservation. We are also a country with a robust environmental legislation that features major international conventions, including the Paris Agreement, the Convention on the Protection of Endangered Species sites, among others. Within the framework of the nationally determined commitment NCD in 2021, Mozambique became the first African country to receive payments from the World Bank Fund for reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation. Last year, we launched a regional initiative on the sustainable management of the Mayombo forest that culminated with the adoption of the Maputo Declaration, which was endorsed by 11 SADC member states. Mayombo woodlands is the largest tropical forest ecosystem of the world, where three species are predominant, which covers more than 2,574 kilometers along the Great Zambezi Basin across 8 countries of Southern Africa. Under this initiative, which intends to project nature, we count on the support of bilateral and multilateral partners in conservation of the Miombo forest that can largely contribute to capture carbon on the planet. Excellencies, the challenges currently faced by humanity are huge. However, solutions are within our reach. We, the leaders present here, have the historic responsibility of saving the planet for the benefit of future generations. The priority areas requiring urgent actions are clearly identified with the matrix of already defined solutions, of which we highlight three. First, we need to renew the political will and redouble efforts to accelerate the achievement of targets of Agenda 2030. We do not need to come up with analytical speeches. The most important is action by all of us with vigor and using available resources. Secondly, we have to intensify integrated policies with concrete actions to eradicate poverty, reduce inequality, preserve nature by empowering women, the youth, and other vulnerable groups. Thirdly, we must strengthen international partnership and multilateralism, taking the United Nations system as a basis. However, 78 years later, the world has experienced profound transformation that require deep reforms. I conclude by appealing for the existence of a more inclusive international financial system that is guided by transparent rules and mutually beneficial rules, where Africa participates as a partner that has a lot to offer to the world and not only a warehouse that supplies cheap commodities to countries or international multinationals, corporations that dominate the international market. To achieve this, we need to retrieve trust and mutual respect between states, which are the sacred principles of the United Nations Charter. Only with trust and mutual respect and solidarity we can build a better world of peace, safe and sustainable that deliver welfare for all. Thank you very much for your attention.
On behalf of the Assembly, I wish to thank the President of the Republic of Mozambique for the statement just made, and I request protocol to escort His Excellency. The Assembly will hear an address by His Excellency Laurentino Cortizo Cohen, President of the Republic of Panama. I request protocol to escort His Excellency. On behalf of the General Assembly, I have the honor to welcome His Excellency Laurentino Cortizo Cohen, President of the Republic of Panama, and to invite him to address the Assembly.
Su Excelencia,
Your Excellency, Mr. Dennis Francis, President of the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly, Your Excellency, Antonio Guterres, United Nations Secretary General, Heads of State and Government, distinguished delegates. I'm delighted to be here before you at this assembly that gathers us with a view to finding more effective ways of addressing the pressing problems of global society. The Republic of Panama, as a founding member of this organization, reiterates its firm commitment to the search for solutions based on dialogue and on mutual respect that contribute to the maintenance of international peace and security, which are essential for the development and well-being of humanity. Panama is the bridge of the world. It is a crossroads at the center of the Americas, where all roads converge, thanks to our exceptional air and maritime connectivity, which is the best in Latin America and the Caribbean. Furthermore, the Republic of Panama is committed to achieving the 2030 Agenda and its 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And they are included within the government plan of my administration. Ladies and gentlemen, in the 50 months that we have been in office, our government has focused on public policies that allow us to address the huge challenge, laying the foundations to reduce poverty and inequality in order to provide the most disadvantaged populations an opportunity to achieve the social and economic conditions that enable them to live decently. Making headway in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals is an inescapable responsibility that compels us to pay attention to the cause and effect relationship between them. We must ask ourselves, how does the climate crisis have an impact on the three first Sustainable Development Goals? Can we really end poverty, achieve zero hunger, and health and well-being in the midst of this serious drought that is afflicting the planet, as well as the floods and the devastating fires that are razing huge areas of land and the rise in sea levels? Let us think about the conclusions of the IPCC report that warns us of an escalation of changes to the climate system, unprecedented escalations that are leading us to extreme situations that have pose a grave threat to the survival of life on Earth. The climate crisis is a ticking time bomb, and time is running out for all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, the commitment of Panama to human existence is something that has been shown and demonstrated with the decisions that we have made and the consequential actions that we have engaged in. We are a country with huge water resources. Our coasts are bathed by two huge oceans, and this makes us particularly aware of the importance of water for our population and for life on Earth. Panama has made extraordinary efforts to preserve our seas, achieving the goal of 30% protected 9 years before 2030, and we have even increased it to 54% this year. Panama, and this is not rhetoric, but rather we have done this with facts, with actions, has become a blue leader. And I can also tell you that Panama is one of the 7 countries in the world that has been declared to be carbon negative. Ladies and gentlemen, in Panama, we have established a carbon footprint reduction program with a national green hydrogen and derivatives strategy. Furthermore, since we have been in office in Panama, we have brought in an ambitious energy transition agenda, with the goal being to find and to develop accessible energy that is not polluting in order to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by at least 24% for 2050. Panama is one of the 15 countries in the world that is most exposed to climate risks and natural risks. In fact, we have already seen in our country the first case of climate displacement when we had to relocate the population of the Karti Sugdup island due to rising sea levels. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to reaffirm on behalf of the Republic of Panama that the Panamanian people successfully rose to the task of the Panama Canal operation in 1999, and we increased its capacity in 2016. I wish to express to the nations of the world that Panama is committed to continuing to operate the canal in a safe, efficient, reliable, and competitive manner as we have done so far. And we have done this very well. Ladies and gentlemen, Panama, as a country that makes effective contributions to environmental protection, asks the most polluting countries here at this General Assembly to respect the commitments made to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We have also seen on repeated occasions at the General Assembly and at the meetings of the Conference of the Parties, the COPs, the United Nations COPs, that countries commit to making changes that later are not delivered. Ladies and gentlemen, human development is the greatest priority and provides populations opportunities for a more decent life within their own countries. That way, they wouldn't have to abandon their countries and embark on irregular emigration, exposing themselves to human rights violations and often losing their own lives. In this regard, the problem of irregular migration must be addressed multilaterally, with a focus on the respect for human rights and under the principles of solidarity and shared responsibility, with the aspiration being to safeguard the integrity of human life in a safe and orderly manner. Panama is working actively in collaboration with several countries in the region to implement programs to improve care and protection for irregular migrants who enter our country over the border with Colombia, crossing the dangerous Darien jungle, which is the largest natural park in the whole of Central America. Ladies and gentlemen, our country is making colossal efforts to provide solidarity to these irregular migrants, whose number is increasing every year. And this is forcing Panama to allocate significant resources to humanitarian aid. This is an unsustainable situation. It's not something we asked for, it's inhumane and is a painful humanitarian tragedy. We are seeing suffering and death for thousands, hundreds of thousands of migrants who are embarking on this perilous journey. I wish to reiterate to you that this situation is not sustainable. It is a situation that we are victim to and that we are not responsible for. I launch an appeal to the international community to address in its full magnitude the issue of irregular migration that today is not only concentrated in the Mediterranean, but rather it is a global issue. And the fact is that the Panamanian people currently are being directly affected by it. Ladies and gentlemen, today we reiterate the appeal for dialogue, for peace, and for multilateralism, with respect for international law and for the principles that underpin it, without anything that goes against the well-being of peoples. In many ways, we are in a race against the clock for human survival, and that is the raison d'etre of this organization that gathers us today, and its actions largely depend on the steps that we take vis-a-vis the future as a global community. Today, as the Panamanian head of state, I wish to express to all of you that Panama wants for the whole world what we want for our own people. That is peace, well-being, justice, and development. Thank you very much.
Au nom de l'Assemblée générale,
On behalf of the General Assembly, I wish to thank the President of Panama for the statement he just made, and I ask protocol to please escort His Excellency.
l'Assemblée va entendre la
The General Assembly will now hear an address by His Excellency Bola Tinubu, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I request protocol to escort His Excellency. On behalf of the General Assembly, I have the honor of welcoming His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Président et
President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And I invite him to take the floor.
Mr. President, Head of State and Government, Secretary General, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the people of Nigeria, I congratulate you on your well-deserved election as the president of this session of the United Nations General Assembly. We commend your predecessor, His Excellency Chaba Korochi, for his able stewardship of the Assembly also. We also commend His Excellency Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, for his work seeking to forge solutions to humanity's common challenges. This is my first address before the General Assembly. Permit me to say a few words on behalf of Nigeria, my country, on behalf of Africa, my continent, regarding this year's theme. Many proclamations have been made, yet our troubles remain close at hand. Failures in good governance have hindered Africa, but broken promises, unfair treatment, and outright exploitation from abroad have also exerted a heavy toll on our ability to progress. Given this long history, if this year's theme is to mean anything at all, it must mean something special and particular to Africa. In the aftermath of the Second World War, nations gathered in an attempt to rebuild their war-torn societies. A new global system was born. And this great body, the United Nations, was established as a symbol and protector of the aspiration and the finest ideas of humankind.
Nations saw that it was in their own interest to help others exceed the rubbles and wasteland of war. Reliable and significant assistance allowed countries emaciated by war to grow into a strong and productive society. The period was a high watermark for trust in global institutions and the belief that humanity had learned the necessary lessons to move forward in global solidarity and harmony. Today, for several decades, Africa has been asking for the same level of political commitment and devotion of resource that described the Marshall Plan. We realize that underlying conditions and causes of economic challenges facing today's Africa are significantly different from those of post-war Europe. We are not asking for identical programs and actions. What we seek is an equal, firm commitment to partnership. We seek enhanced international cooperation with African nations to achieve the 2030 Agenda and Sustainable Development Goals. There are 5 points I want to highlight. First, if this year's theme is to have any importance at all and any impact, global institutions, other nations, and their private sector actors must see Africa as a development priority, not just for Africa, but in the interest of us all as well. Due to both long-standing internal and external factors, Nigerians and Africa's economic structures have been skewed to impede development, industrial expansion, job creation, and the equitable distribution of wealth. If Nigeria is to fulfill its duty to its people, I know, and the rest of Africa, we must create jobs and the belief in a better future for our people. We are pushing for that. We must also lead by example, and we are doing so, to foster economic growth and investors' confidence in Nigeria, and remove the costly and corrupt fuel subsidy while also discarding a noxious exchange rate system in my first few days in office. Other growth and job-oriented firms are in the wings. I'm mindful of the transient hardship that reform can cause. However, it is necessary to go through this phase in order to establish a foundation for durable growth and investment to build the economy our people deserve. We welcome partnerships with those who not mind seeing Nigeria and Africa assume larger roles in the global community. The question is not whether Nigeria is open for business. The question is how much of the world is truly open to doing business with Nigeria, and how African is an equal, mutually beneficial manner. Direct investment in critical industries, opening airports to a wider range and larger quantity of African exports, and meaningful debt relief are important aspects of the cooperation we seek. Second, we must affirm democratic governance as the best guarantor of sovereign will and well-being of the people. Military coups are wrong, as in any titled civilian political arrangement that will perpetuate injustice. The wave crossing part of Africa does not demonstrate favor towards coup. It is a demand for solution to perennial problem. Let us dig it deeper. Regarding Niger, we are negotiating with the military leaders. As chairman of ECOWAS, I seek to help establish democratic governance in a manner that addresses the political economy challenges confronting that nation, including violent extremists who seek to foment instability in our region. I extend a hand of friendship to all of you who may genuinely support this mission for a democratic governance in that nation. This brings me to my third crucial point. Our entire region is locked in protracted battle against violent extremists. In the turmoil, a dark channel of inhuman commerce has formed. Along the route, everything is for sale. Men, women, and children are seen as chattel. Yet, thousands reach the Sahara, hot and sand, and the Mediterranean cold death in search of a better life. At the same time, mercenaries and extremists with their lethal weapons and vile ideologies invade our region from the north. This harmful traffic undermines the peace and stability of the entire region. African nation will improve our economics so that our people do not risk their life to sweep the floors and streets of other nations. We also shall devote ourselves to disbanding extremist groups on our turf. Yet, to fully contain this threat, the international community must strengthen its commitment to arrest the flow of arms and violent people into West Africa. The fourth important aspect of this global trust and solidarity is to secure the continent's mineral-rich areas from plundering and conflicts. Many such areas have become catacombs of misery and exploitation. The Democratic Republic of Congo has suffered this for decades, despite the strong UN presence there. What happened? The world economy owes the Republic of Congo much, but gives her very little. The mayhem visited on resource-rich areas does not respect national boundaries. Sudan, Mali, Burkina Faso, Central African Republic, and the list grow on and on and on. The problem also knocks at Nigeria's door. Foreign entities are baited by local criminals who aspire to be petty warlords have drafted thousands of people into servitude to illegally mine gold and other resources. Billions of dollars meant to improve the nation's economy now fuel violent enterprises. If left unchecked, they will threaten peace and place national security at a grave danger. Given the extent of this injustice and the high scales involved, many Africans are asking whether the phenomenon is by accident or by design. Members' nations must reply by working with us to deter their farms and nationals from the 21st century pillage of continent riches. Fifth, climate change severely impacts Nigeria and Africa. Northern Nigeria is honored by desert encroachment, hounded from the north, all are arable lands. Our south is pounded by the rising tide of coastal flooding and erosion. In the middle, the rainy season brings flood that kill and displace multitudes. As I lament death at home, I also lament the grave loss of life in Morocco and Libya. The Nigerian people are with you. Please note that. African nations will fight climate change, but must do so on fair and just terms. To achieve the need popular consensus, this campaign must accord with overall economic efforts. In Nigeria, we shall build political consensus by highlighting remedial actions which also promote economic good. Projects such as Green Wall to stop desert encroachment, halting the destruction of our forests by mass production and distribution of gas burning stoves, and providing employment in local water management and irrigation projects are examples of efforts that equally advance both economic and climate change objectives. Continental efforts regarding climate change will register important victories if established economies were more forthcoming with public and private sector investment for African preferred initiatives. Again, this will go far in demonstrating that global solidarity is real and working. As I'm about to close, let me emphasize Nigeria's objective accord with the guiding principles of this world body: peace, security, human rights, and development. In fundamental ways, nature has been kind to Africa, given abundant land, resources, and creative and industrious people. Yet, man has too often been unkind to a fellow man, and this sad tendency has brought sustained hardship to Africa's doorstep. To keep faith with the tenets of this world to this body and the theme of this year's assembly, the poverty of nations must end. The pillage of one nation's resources by overreach of farms and people of stronger nations must end. The will of the people must be respected. This beautiful, generous, and forgiving planet must be protected. As for Africa, we seek to be neither appendage nor patron. We do not wish to replace old shackles with new ones. Instead, we hope to walk the rich African soil and live under the magnificent African sky, free of the wrongs of the past and clear of the associated encumbrances. We desire a beautiful, prosperous, vibrant, democratic living space for our people where we do it. To the rest of the world, I say, work with us as true friends and partners. Africa is not a problem to be avoided, nor is it to be pitied. Africa is nothing less than the key to the world's future. I thank you for listening.
De l'Assemblée générale, je tiens à remercier
On behalf of the General Assembly, I wish to thank the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Republic of Nigeria for his statement, and I ask protocol to please escort His Excellency. The Assembly will now hear an address from His Excellency Mr. Luis Lacalle Pou, President of the Eastern Republic of Uruguay. I ask protocol to please escort His Excellency.
au nom de l'Assemblée générale
On behalf of the General Assembly, I have the honour to welcome His Excellency Mr. Luis Lacalle Pou, President of the Eastern Republic of Uruguay, and to invite him to address the Assembly. A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My greetings to the President of the General Assembly, which are also extended to the United Nations Secretary General, to
Rudolph Okonkwo. After an on-camera handshake at the UN Plaza Hotel.
Today, once again, I am here speaking
where the two presidents expressed their desires to continue and advance the age-long commitment to building on their two countries' shared values, with a mandatory mention of protecting of her dress. They brighten every event I see her at. In fact, her colors and smile draw me to her the way sweet nectar and pollens draw a butterfly to flowers. Bola Tinubu, why were you looking forward to meeting me, sir? Joe Biden, because your bio that my aides gave me was fascinating. It says that you attended the Chicago State University in the 1970s. Bola Tinubu.
All right, welcome everybody, and let's review what we had. It's been a special podcast of the speech by the President of Nigeria, Mr. Bola Tinubu, to the United Nations General Assembly, number 78. I've seen some of the comments that some of you made. If you have any opinion, we have about 30 minutes to just review what happened. Hosfor, welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning.
It's morning where you are. Where are you? Where are you?
Hello?
Yeah, where are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. I'm in Turkey,
Oh, okay.
Istanbul.
Okay.
Turkey, Istanbul.
Okay. So how did
I'm
you
in Turkey, Istanbul. Yes, I can hear you.
okay. So what's your assessment?
Hello?
Yeah. What's your assessment of the speech?
Mm,
So what's your assessment of the speech? All right. I think his connection is not very good. So I found some things very interesting. Like I asked before, if you think he would talk about corruption, of course he did not. He used the voice. You know, Africans, they have a voice they use when they are talking to white people. He used that voice. He talked about Marshall Plan that he was hoping that the rest of the world will put together a Marshall Plan for Africa the way they did after the Second World War for Germany. Uh, and then there was a time he talked about took credit for removing oil subsidy and stopping the exchange rates that we had before, where you have one for businesses and special people, and then the other one for everybody else. He talked about climate change. There was a point he mentioned that man has been too often unkind to his fellow man. So I want to hear what you think about this speech, everybody. If you want to weigh in, just click on the link and join us. All right, house four. Can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Yes,
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. Go ahead. What do you think?
Um, I did not start the whole speech. I joined when he was talking about climate change. Like, what I can say about climate change is for for as long as I know, even before I was born, this climate change, I believe it's an agenda for the wealthy elites to somehow seize power, control. They tell us the world is going to end by 2035, 2030, Greta Thunberg, the climate czar. But somehow, these same people that are telling us that the world will end are clinging to all the money, seizing power. What's going on? If the world is going to end, what's this need for grabbing power, controlling the masses, like not taking away the freedom of people? I don't believe in climate change. And I also heard when he was talking about this calls for we should ask Africa why there are coups in Africa. Like, what was he saying? But he was the same person that, without dialogue, was going to invade Niger. The same man saying all this right now was the same leader that said, let us invade Niger without going through dialogue, without consulting maybe the elder statesmen. He chose to fight, invade. I Tinubu is not the leader that we need, but he is what we have. That is the truth. He is not what we need, but he's the person there. He's the person in charge. He's the person wielding power. I'm not saying anybody is a saint, but if the election had gone the way we wished it would go, even if we knew that it was never going to happen, we all know that the person that we need is Peter Obi, but he's not as corrupt, he's not evil enough to seize power in Nigeria, or let's not say seize power, to win a clear-cut election. He's not up to it.
Was there anything
So
you want? Was there anything you expected him to speak about that he did not?
the man was reading from a script.
That's what
I
everybody, the
I would
president.
say I would say, have you seen Putin give speech?
Who?
Have you seen Vladimir Putin when he does their state of when he addresses the nation whenever they are doing the
Yeah. What is special about him?
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
Oh, not again.
All right, let's go to someone else. Chris, I'll come back to you when you fix. Nigeria is a scam. Welcome to the show.
Dr. Damages.
Yes.
Good evening, sir.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm sorry I'm putting on singlet. It's hot here.
Where are you?
I'm in Wisconsin. But it's hot right now, though. I know why you're laughing. It's hot right now.
But you should put on your fan. You don't
Yeah,
have.
the fan is on anyway. It's fine.
Oh,
Look
I
at
can
it.
see that. I can see that.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. So, but I don't care about all the things he said anyway, because this is just a repetition of what the past presidents have been saying. You know, what I picked up right there was the introduction. They said the president of the armed forces of Nigeria.
Ah.
That's what they say. You can play it back. Why? So he is just the president of the armed forces, not even the president of Nigerians. That's all I picked up. I knew he was gonna be like that anyway.
No, wait. I didn't get that, but I'll play that and
Yeah,
check.
play it back. I made a comment when they said that. I was listening.
But even if it's true, it's not him that made the mistake. It's not him that told them to say.
No. Somebody gave the person who introduced him, the paper to say that. Because the person who introduced him don't know everybody who came there. So they said the president of the armed forces of Nigeria, not even the president of the people.
You think if that were to be the case, you think it wasn't a mistake, that it was intentional?
It's not my problem. I mean, it's not my mistake anyway. But that's what the person was given to, and that made me to understand that the president is just the president of the armed forces, because whenever we have a protest in Nigeria, they always send the military to kill people. That's
all right,
the force.
hold on. Nigeria is a scam. Let me hear from Richard. I'm sure Richard.
All right, sir. Okay.
Richard, did you hear the president of the armed forces of Nigeria? I didn't hear that.
To be honest, thank you so much for the opportunity, Doctor. And I say good evening to everyone on the panel and those who are watching uh, from all over the world. To be honest with you, I didn't pay attention to the introduction, so I can't confirm or deny. But the thing, what I really want for Africa is we should not expect any pity from the West or from the East. We should just, if we can come together, especially those of us who are Black Africans. I believe Egypt and Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, they like to do their things by themselves. They don't really actually want to really, they're not really comfortable identifying themselves as Africans. So I believe if we can do our things the way we want, if we can come together, I believe we can do it. But I know it's very challenging. It's almost very impossible. It looks very impossible. I don't want to say it's impossible. The way, especially when you mention countries like France, the way they conquer our people, I mean, none of the francophone countries has their own currency. They don't even have their own central banks. France made them to keep their money in Paris. So, for instance, if you are taking your paycheck and somebody is taking it from you and say, hey, I have to take 85% of your paycheck from you. And when you want money from your own money, I'll give you back at maybe 20% interest rate. So it makes it almost impossible to develop. And I mean, not only Francophone country, look at South Africa too. I have friends that lives in South Africa. So they told me that the Caucasians in South Africa, they all have dual citizenships. They all have the Dutch passport. So when there are problems in South Africa, they take off and leave. And they leave only the natives behind to suffer it. So look at the way they dealt with Zimbabwe. Up till now, Zimbabwe is yet to get over.
Yeah,
As soon
Richard.
as you raise,
Richard,
sir?
let's get back to the speech. What
Okay.
is your impression of the speech and what he said?
Well, it sounds very good, like somebody who has plan, but there are problems. Number one, we are polarized right now. Nigeria is highly polarized. I don't know how they can bring the elders together so that they can, and elders from all the communities, the tribes, involve the traditional and the religious leaders. A lot has to be done. But I don't think anybody will listen to any religious or traditional leader if they don't have food on their tables. That's the first thing. And what I see is this: somebody needs to tell them that Nigerians cannot wait till December. If you are going to, at least you need to induce that economy with money, maybe in the name of new minimum wage. Because I remember very well in 1999 when Obasanjo got there. There was no increment during the 4.5 years of Abacha, no increment during Abdul Salami Abubakar 1 year. But when Obasanjo got there in 1999/2000, he gave people, federal workers and state workers, minimum wage. I remember they started cooperative societies and they started buying all these Tokumbo cars. And that trickled down. Those who are in private sector too, they also made their money. Things went well because I was in OAU. Although I had served and came back to my community that time in 2000. So I noticed that all those professors and administrators that couldn't even afford to buy lands. They were buying lands, they were building houses, they were buying cars. So another something like that has to be repeated in Nigeria. And Tinubu cannot wait. Nigerians cannot wait till December. He has to do whatever he has to do between now and end of October. Give them money. Because if you say you want to bring everybody together or whatever, they won't listen to you if they don't have money, food to feed their children. Even if you have the best policies, the first thing is food. What am I going to eat? Yes.
So,
yeah,
Richard,
that's the thing. You need to give them money to feed their family.
Is it right if I say that you didn't sound like this the last time you were on this show?
The last time I was here, you ran away. It was a Saturday or Sunday. I was at work, but I could not really join on time. Okay. I joined very late, so you had left that time. But
okay.
Yeah, you had left already.
Okay.
I always watch, but I work on weekends, so unfortunately, I'm enjoying my off day now. I'm not going back until Friday.
All right, thank you. Tone,
yes, sir. I'm still here.
Oh, I know. Tone, welcome to the show.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi. Good evening here from London. I know Hospital was speaking earlier. Could you allow him to finish his thoughts? Then.
He did. He did.
Yeah, he froze out. Yeah, so he's back.
Oh, okay.
So let Hospital finish, then I'll come out thereafter.
Hospital, go ahead.
Can you hear us? Unmute yourself.
No, I don't think.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I think in the end, beyond every other thing that is happening right now, Buhari can only do so much or so far. Like the elderly guy was saying, people that don't have money, we would not if there's no funds, there's no conformity. Nobody would follow. The poor masses cannot follow someone who is wealthy and dictating for them. You have to at least bring them up to one part. When they have money in their pocket, they can feed the family, then they will listen. You cannot subjugate others to poverty and feel you will tell them the country is going in the right direction, or you go on the international stage and spew whatever you're saying and expect people to get and clap for you. It would not work that way.
So that's what I have to say.
All right, thank you. Son.
Okay. Hi, greetings again to everybody. Wow, where can I start? I just want to be careful because I don't want people to seem that I've got a personal
Where can I
vendetta.
start? I just want to be careful because I don't want
Against
people
him.
to
Hold on.
see that
I think I
I've
can
got.
hear myself somewhere.
Yeah,
1 minute, please,
I
doctor.
muted. It may not be from you. Go ahead. Let me see if it came from someone else. I muted them. Go ahead.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, I don't want to seem as if I'm trading personal insults because um to be quite honest, this is a shame to Nigeria with all the intellectual minds that we've got, and this is the best that we can come up with. It's embarrassing. In British parlance, all I can say, this is all I hear for the I don't know how many minutes he was on. It's all waffle. He was just waffling. He was just all over the place. There's no direction and all that. People say, yeah, Tinubu is going to be in America. He's going to ring the bell and all that. I mean, you can even dress up a monkey in an agbada or suit to even ring the bell. This is not what are looking for. I mean, this is not even a time that I feel that he should be jet hopping all over the place to seek legitimacy, because this is what I see happening here is still the man is still seeking legitimacy all over the place. You know, what I expect him to deal with is stay within the country and address the real issue. There's something the whole case. There's Nnamdi Kanu. There's Biafra. There is a Yoruba nation. Then gathering a team that is not ethnic based and all that, technocrats, not the Lagos Abubakar technocrats that he assembled. Gathering technocrats across the line, across party lines and all that, build and build the economy. You can't say the economy is going to be better by mouth. You don't just change. You don't just increase minimum wage and all that. There has to be you need to put some things in place to stimulate economic activity. I have not seen this in this government. All I see is a veiled um, attack on obedience and article. That's all I just see. This man is not taking us anywhere. No hard feeling. This is not just about any party or anything. I know that. He's not going to take us anywhere. He's not going anywhere. It's just going to be one lie after the other, one lie after the other. See, his presidency is based on lie and deceit. Everything he does is all based, it's all been lying and lying and lying. He'll go abroad and lie and all that. Now, the other young man has taken over from Lai Mohammed and all that. All he does is just lie and lie and lie.
So first of all,
I,
hold on. Because virtually all countries, other than people like China's president and Russian, and going to the United Nations, that's not a problem. I mean, the trip is not. We're not stopping from doing all the things he said he will do. I wanted to know if I don't know how much of the speeches by Nigerian presidents you've listened to at the UN. I wanted you to compare that to what someone like Buhari or Jonathan when Jonathan was president. Remember, all our presidents, they all come, irrespective of what's going on in the country, they will come. And for countries like Nigeria, I think there are probably reasons why it's important that they come. But were you expecting something else from what he said, or what was the disappointment from your own end?
My disappointment is that at this critical time of the state where we are as a nation of Nigeria, it's either we break or it goes down, and it's going to go down very badly. He doesn't need to come. A man whose house is on fire does not go to a party, no matter all the goodies that is served in that party. You should sit down at home and sort it. Now I hear people that support him are saying that that he's going to attract foreign investors to come into Nigeria. There's nothing wrong with it. But do you think if I'm a foreign investor, I'll go into Nigeria? Let's not delude ourselves. The answer is capital no. because we've got serious problems with security now, infrastructures. Look at the light and all that. It's not working. Nothing is working. Start dealing with it. Start talking to people across party lines, across tribal lines and all that. That's the way we can get ourselves, like my brother rightly said, Richard, that the country is divided. He has not come out as a father and said, hey, whatever happens, listen, Tinubu has he had a chance to sort out all these things about certificate or not certificate, whether he went to CSU or he did not. Listen, he can come out and say, listen, guys, listen, everybody has their past. Everybody, yeah, I was younger then. I made some stupid mistakes and all that. I really want to serve the nation. Show some example. You know, he has not come out and addressed anything. All the things that happened during the election, he has never addressed it. So how do we want to move on? There's a lot of agitation and hurt in the heart of people. Even when he will start doing things that are good, people will criticize him because there's still some bitterness. This is the thing that he should be addressed, but I don't think he's getting the right advice. I'm sorry, he's not getting the right advice from his advisors. You know, it's the attitude is like, you know, we don't really care what the opposition is saying or what they are feeling, what the people are talking about and all that. We'll just do our own stuff. You don't do that. You are not the president of APC or president of Lagos State or Iragbiji. You are the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
All right. Thank you, Tom. Richard, let me come back to you. He mentioned Marshall Plan for Africa, that he was looking forward to a Marshall Plan for Africa. What do you think about that? Do we deserve one?
Well, that's a huge responsibility right there. What I really feel is this. We've had leaders like that, like the late Kwame Nkrumah, like the late Mama Gaddafi, that knew that individually we cannot do it alone unless we come together. Like, look at these Francophone countries, African countries. I don't think they can survive without France for the next 12 months unless they come together and even involved the Anglophone countries. But individually, the Niger, well, I don't know, but the way I see it is this: in the next few months, you will see them going to Paris to kneel down and beg. That's the way it is. Oh, no, you know that. Look at Zimbabwe. Oh, when I first got to this country in our backyard, Hugo Chavez. Remind me of the name of the country. Venezuela, thank you. They were doing very well. Nobody will ever go to bed hungry. It was they followed socialism. But because they identified with the red of Russia, America never liked it. Now the big brother went after their economy. I still believe they inflicted Hugo Chavez because he was a very strong man. All of a sudden, he just fell ill and they said he had cancer. He died. And right now, the country is down economically up to today. The same thing happened to my man in Palestine, Yasser Arafat, another very strong man. They infected him with disease and he died. So that's why I said individually, nobody can stand up to these people. They are very devilish. They will smile at you. They will tell you, hey, this is going to happen. But when a West tells you good morning, please make sure you check your time that is really morning. Because I tell you, because as an African man, a Nigerian man, we welcome visitors, strangers. They use that to really penetrate us, enslave us, took away everything our ancestors knew, and they condemn everything that those people were doing. And they told us their own way is the only way. So we are still struggling with identity. We don't want to identify with our ancestors no more. We think they were devilish, and we are suffering lack of true identity up to now. So what I felt or what I feel is this: unless all African countries come together, we can't stand up individually. We can't stand up to them. No,
okay.
We cannot.
All right, thank you.
We cannot.
As for, did you listen to the president of Turkey when he was speaking? Did you listen to his speech? You're muted. I can't hear you.
Erdogan.
Yeah. Did you listen to his speech at the UN?
I wasn't online. I was
Oh,
not online.
all right. All right. Because I wanted to see if you can do a comparison because he was talking as a leader also from that region. You notice that when Nigerian presidents come up here to speak, they always show that they care about what happens in the sub-region of West Africa, and of course they extend it to Africa, being that they are the big brothers, so to say. I wanted to see if you could compare that. But Tone, let me come back to you. Tinubu said that I think you talked about this a little bit, but Tinubu said that Africa is not a problem to be avoided or something like that. But it's not really about, it's not that people don't know where Africa is. It's about the condition, and I think you mentioned that if you don't have that enabling environment, investors won't come, and the first attempt should be to provide that environment, and then you can invite investors. But let me ask you: did you listen to any of the Buhari's speeches at the United Nations?
He's equally useless.
Okay.
Equally useless.
Okay, I get your point. I get where you're coming from.
And doctor, can I just compare? You can't compare this impostor to Goodluck Ebele Jonathan.
Okay, why do you say that? Because look at how it works. Also, I mean, and that's some of the reasons reasons why we do this. They get speeches written for them, sometimes by civil servants, sometimes by diplomats, sometimes by outsiders. These are speeches that have probably been writing it for the past 2 months.
Rudolph, can I stop you there? If you are the president and a speech was prepared for you, obviously you will read it before you come live.
Mm-hmm.
If some parts you do not agree, you'll ask them to edit. Is it not?
Mm-hmm.
So what are we talking about here? It's not like they put it on his head and ask him to read it by force. No.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is that whatever is produced by a team, and it's not really the president.
I agree with you totally.
Okay.
I agree with you totally. It's not like it's a military junta that somebody just writes and that's it. And it's everything is by force. It's forced down his truth. It wasn't forced down his truth. If there was some paragraph that he thought that could be worded differently, because he knows that he's addressing his audience is very vast and all that, he can always say, hey guys, I don't want it this way, please. This is what I need to communicate to my audience and all that. They will do it. See, the thing is that if it's not there, it's not there. I don't want to speak with him. Yeah. If it's not there, it's just not there. It's not there. It doesn't just have it. It's not there. See, it just pains me. We can do better. Is that what the best that Nigeria can produce? We can do a lot better than now. He has a presidency. He has now run with it. He has now grabbed it and all that. Now, what is he doing with it? He has no clue. He has no clue.
All right, let's go to Ovia. Ovia, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Damages.
Did you watch the speech?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
But at the same time, I was cooking beans, so.
What's the connection now?
That maybe like 99% attention given to it, not less.
Okay. So what is your take? Any takeaway from the speech?
I mean, which part is that? The educational part, his appearance, his presentation,
anyone you can take it from.
I want to stand out. Educational part, his appearance, his presentation, anyone you can take it from. What's his stand? Echoing back here.
Host 4, it's from you. Host 4, yeah. Go ahead, Obi.
One aspect I will give Haitian at the cap, some point.
From the one he's been using.
That's it. No, it's just one point. I don't know. Maybe not because the camera edition. I don't know, but it's a standard. It's iconic in a way. I guess into the future. That's unique among all the symbols we see around our political leaders and the public officials. We get the Konkosea with the red cap. We have the good luck Jonathan with his own, So I don't know that this one pop. And let me use the Gen Z language. That can pop, right? But general, I mean, putting everything into context. I mean, a United Nations, so it's addressing the world as you earlier said, than a regional. He's presenting himself as a regional leader. So, and I think I had that moment. I said, this now is it there to represent the whole continent or so? Nigerian president, but at the same time, I mean, he was able to every point he made regarding the continent. Nigeria is always at the center, either at the beginning or the middle or the end of that statement. So he touched on everything in terms of tomorrow purpose, because if you want to, you listen to speeches for reflection, for citation, for current affairs, and I think he touched on the most thriving things currently in Africa in terms of he talks about the insecurity, how terrorists are taking advantage of one of that. And then he also talking about, when he was talking about the Niger coup, he said the military leaders. that's how that I said the military leaders. He didn't use that the coup blah blah. He said the military leaders that they are, So that's another thing that I paid attention to. He talked about the climate change. Yeah, it's expected. I mean, if you won't go United Nations, you don't talk about climate change. I mean, what else again? I mean, there are 5 points that he talked on, right? Talking about equality and partnership, and that take me aback a little bit. And I have a lot of questions in that partnership. You go there to ask for partnership, beg for partnership, or demand partnership. But within that statement, you are still in a way asking for debt forgiveness. You are still, so it's just everything is just in. So, but again, Bola Tinubu, if our economy, everything about it is run by the West. So if it's not, yes, it's there to draw attention to those travel issues. But again, yes, how far it can go. You don't want to offend anybody. So because I prefer he was putting name to those when he was describing the insecurity in the region, the actors who are, taking advantage of them. When he was also talking about Congo, I think I'm impressed that actually focus on Congo. Congo has been going through for what, decades. So even though he's not putting name to all those things, but the actors, they know themselves, and people who actually have solution in mind in the future, and maybe future generation, they'll be curious. They're going to research. Why is at gathering? Why this name also keep coming up? So they will go into also. It touched on everything as far as I'm concerned, but I'm not going to say, oh, it's an heroic speech, because as I said, he was just patronizing everybody. You are begging and asking and demanding authority. So everything was just interwoven. Yeah. He go there, do what he needed to be done, and I think he put it together pretty good as far as I'm concerned.
But was there anything missing to you that you thought that he would talk about that he didn't?
Russia, Ukraine. Russia and Ukraine. I thought he would say something about that, seriously, but
why? What is the connection to Nigeria?
What is connection to Nigeria? I mean, if you are talking about the insecurity within our, I mean, again, I give him that I cover every aspect of the continent. Talk about the Libya, the Morocco. Yes, Morocco. He didn't talk about Morocco earthquake. I think that's.
I think he mentioned Morocco. I don't remember now. I listen to so many of them now, so I'm
you talk about Sudan, Congo, Nigeria, so many times. I don't know. As I say, I was in and out of the kitchen, so maybe when I go Tom Beans, I missed that part, but I didn't hear that part. Yes, Russia and Ukraine. Come on.
So let's move on to something else. I think tomorrow, probably, I'm not sure the exact day, but within the next few days, he's going to meet with Joe Biden, the president of the United States.
Yes, those are the things.
What are your expectations? Richard, let me start with you.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, everybody, for the opportunity and the time. Let me go back a little bit. you always ask us that, is anything missing from the speech? Number one, they were timed. I think 15 to 20 minutes each. Number, you can't see everything. Remember, it's a general assembly. The real one is when you say, hey, Dr. Damages, let me talk to you. The side talks. Hey, Mr. Microsoft, this is what we need from you. Like today, or yesterday, he met with ExxonMobil, and they already promised to increase their output in Nigeria by 40,000 barrels per day. That is huge investment. And the other time he went to India, they claim they got, I think, about $14 billion investment. Remember, one of those investors was already in Port Harcourt, and they already signed the MOU. So what you say in the General Assembly is just everything. But when you now call people aside that I need you for gas production, I need you for this, I need you for that, military equipment. You meet, like IMF, we have so loan. We need to restructure it. We cannot cope with what we're paying now. So those are you can't say that in the General Assembly. Now, Biden, I don't know if meeting Biden can change their mind. I said the other time that when you are dealing with the West, don't think because they are smiling at you, they love you. No. Why did I say that? Only this year, January to September, the US has spent more than $100 billion on Ukraine. Meanwhile, our backyard here, Haiti, it's just a gang war, not really a military war. US has not given them nothing. And even the spokesperson, White House spokeslady, she has Haiti ancestry. And we have Congressional Black Caucus in the Senate and Congress. They have not done nothing. Nothing. Kenya sent 500 police, not military, policemen. All Haiti needs from America is just give us like 500 soldiers and only like $100 million. They close their eyes. So if you talk to the US, it's only on economy. I believe he traveled there with defense minister. Maybe they want to buy something from them. But expecting any help from the US to a black country? No, I don't trust any Western country. No, I do not. Is it not the same Biden that was threatening Uganda? That in as much as you pass the anti-LGBT law, I'm going to punish you. What right? What right? I asked him again, the old man, who told him he has the right to tell people how to follow their culture? That there will be consequences if you ban gay law. Are you going to tell me how to live my life? It's not done. The same country that will tell you America is the symbol of liberty, freedom of speech, freedom of everything. And you are telling other countries that if you do this, which is against your culture, it's going to punish you for that. So, well, it's good to meet Biden, but nothing will come out of it, except you want to buy weapons.
Thank you. Turn on mute yourself.
Okay. I think what he's just going to do will not be too far from what we saw tonight. It's just going to be another waffle. It's still a vain attempt to gain acceptance in the international scene. That's all what he's just fighting for. He's not on the track where we want him to be. That's my own opinion. People might say that I'm being too hard on him or I'm being disrespectful, because someone in the comment section was saying I'm being disrespectful. I don't disrespect my elders. Like I said, many years ago, he was an associate of my uncle. I know him personally even before he became a governor. I know that. But I will not be on the side of illegality and the criminality. That's it. So I don't expect that much. All he's going to go do when he sees the president of the United States is to seek ways of gaining acceptance of his position that he shouldn't be in. So I don't expect anything anything better than what we heard and saw this evening.
All right, thank you, Ovie.
Yes, I think for me that's the most important part. The side meetings, the one that is just this is for just normal politics, and that's why I commend him for no. It didn't come out as a very offensive, trying to offend anybody, because after the ocean and the guy, you have to go and make this. You have to go and face the reality of actually trying to bring these people to come and invest, because he's talked about how yes, they need to come and invest in Africa so that they're able to move the continent forward. If you remember, at the end of that speech, he alluded to the fact that Africa is the key to the future. So, and yesterday, Wale Adeyomo was in Lagos Business School, where he addressed where he made a speech and took questions. And some of the things that he said that I actually took to heart was how he mentioned few companies named that are interested to come and invest in Nigeria. Talk about Meta, talk about Ford, talk about Netflix and all that. He even go ahead and say that yes, some are already operating in Nigeria already. So I expect the president to actually now and his team to get to work and making sure that speech that was delivered by the deputy treasurer, that's Wale Adeyomo in Lagos, correlate with what the side stock will be in terms of at the business table. So I'm actually looking forward to what will come out from that those meetings. I mean, in terms of him meeting the Biden, those one are just a photo op. They will not discuss anything. I just just to for me and you to talk about nothing. They don't make this. They are not businessmen and women where they will talk business. So, but those side table and business meetings are what I'm looking forward to. Let me see how many you actually succeed in getting. They will be on rhetorics and actually put something on ground.
Yeah, but let me say, Ovia, it's not true what you just said, because the ones they show you on camera is different from the one that you don't see. So
what's in go talk Biden and Tinubu?
No, there are some things that sometimes it's only the president, two presidents, and maybe if there is an interpreter or somebody that will be in the room when they talk about those kind of things.
Yeah, but I agree. But I just look at the two of them. I don't see what they are in terms of the Nigerian affair, right? What did they want them? I don't understand. They are pretty much everything is going well so far since the election to this point in terms of in that level of America. Everything is going on well so far. I don't see waiting. I don't know. I don't think there's any. Is there any unfinished business from the last administration and that Buhari and Tinubu and Biden that we expect Tinubu to actually go in one-on-one and smooth off? I don't know, but
no, there are personal, there are interests. Countries have interests, and sometimes like what happened in the news today, where you see Iran and America swapping prisoners. These are not the things these are the things that are spoken about in very tight meetings that are not public, and so just it's important. All right, let's go to Hosfor.
I didn't say it's not important to. I say I'm more interested in the real deal. Them now police. What do they want tell me? Now want practicality. They cannot practicality now. They go always. I'm not saying it's not important. It is important now, photo. But what comes out of how the foreign affairs team that goes with him, what they will come out from there? Those business guys, what they will come out for the education people that went with. I think those things, practical things that actually maybe even though you don't touch the people in the village, those with the city, the VCC jobs. So that's what I'm not saying it's not important. Of course, it's important. It's all part of the democracy. Democracy that all of us to say that we're all part of it.
All right. Thank you. Let's Hosfor.
Yeah, whatever Buhari is going to discuss with Biden.
You keep calling Buhari. We moved on. Hosfor.
Whatever Tinubu is going to, whatever Tinubu, they're almost the same. They're almost the same. Whatever Tinubu is going to discuss with President Biden, it's going to be on a personal basis. It has nothing to do with the Nigerian public. If Tinubu wanted what was best for Nigeria, he would have diversified. Look for ways to get direct link to BRICS. Diversify, not make us cling to America, a sinking ship. So whatever he's going to discuss with Joe Biden, it's on a personal basis for his own personal interest and what they would exchange personally. It has nothing to do with the masses. If he wanted to do something for the masses, he would have diversified. Create links with Russia. look for a way to be personally involved in BRICS instead of standing on the sidelines looking at what they are doing. We should be like India. Be friends with everybody. Nobody should be your enemy. Don't eliminate one side because maybe you feel you're having something personal, you're gaining something from us. No. If he was looking at Nigerians, there are so many things he would have done. And whatever he's going to do with Biden, like I said, it's on a personal base. And let me answer what Mr. Richard said earlier. The reason why America will not help Haiti is because the military-industrial complex in America, they have nothing to gain. The Congressional Black Caucus you're talking about, they all have investments in all these military companies. Going to Haiti will not bring money. So they have to be in Ukraine. That is why you see they keep pumping money there. They have to be in Niger. That is why you see they are pushing Nigeria, their puppet, Tinubu, to invade because they know that if he invades, they can drag it, make money. So there's nothing for them to gain in Haiti. Why do you think they will go to Haiti?
All right.
So
Thank you. Femi, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. I sympathize with us for obviously uh, we've all been traumatized so by Buhari, so it's not easy. The shadow still stays around. Yesterday, my wife was asking me. She said she wonders whether Buhari is still around. I'm like, just leave that man. Just leave that man alone. Anyways, so basically, of course, I only just joined, and but
Did
I
you
can
watch the
feel
speech?
I did, I
Okay.
did,
Okay. So
but I barely watched it. I mean, the general speech itself. The reason being that, and this is not even a diss on anybody in particular. Sometimes I wonder. I know this is a 78. Is it version we'll call it
yeah,
now?
78. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because at least I see Uncle Richard here, in addition to Dr. Damages, who are definitely older than I am in any way, form, shape, or form. Sometimes I think it's just rhetorics, because it's almost as if they keep repeating the same thing virtually every year. They will come and talk about climate change. And if it's not Ukraine, Russia attacking America and China blasting America, or Iran blasting America, it is America blasting. It's like the same. So that thing, it's not even. It's difficult to. It's a difficult watch. It's almost like we know what they're going to say before they get there. But specifically, so I'm not even like, it doesn't really like it's almost like, I think is you even Dr. Richard there, Mr. Richard, sorry, and Dr. Damages, two of you, for example, could easily go there with nothing in your hands and deliver probably the same speech. It's not hard. So I'm not really, but one thing I really just want to even pivot into, just to take away, which part of which Ovia has actually spoken to, was the much awaited visit of Adewale Adeyemo, because there's this wayo thing that, despite the fact that I sometimes, of course, I always agree with what Uncle Richard says sometimes, but I like his presentations. If there's one thing I agree with you about, and probably a lot of us, we know the reasons why. Of course, it's a privileged position that Adeyemo is a Nigerian by origin. We know the reason why they're doing these things. Right. They can see the infiltration of the Chinese, what they're doing. And of course, if you watch part of the Arise interview with him, you saw the way there was a particular question I was waiting for. I knew it was going to come. I love those kind of questions, and we know the answers. But for a lot of us, we're not fools. A lot of these things are politics. It doesn't matter whether, of course, I didn't necessarily want Tinubu to be president. In fact, in short, you just ended my speech. Let me just end there. Let me just keep it that way. Thank you.
No, for those mentioning Wale Adeyemo, I hope you read the speech or watched it. The speech he made.
No, it was good. Yeah, it was good. No,
it's not about being good. No, that's not the important.
Okay.
He was talking like an American.
Yes.
America.
Yes. Oh yeah, exactly.
So people mean
Exactly.
he wasn't talking like a Nigerian who.
No, I
Nigerian,
agree. No, I agree.
exactly.
But I agree. I
He
agree.
said
Dr.
something.
Damages.
He said, I myself, I am the son of a diaspora.
Exactly.
I was like,
Dr. Damages.
Uncle, wait till now.
Don't whine us. Don't whine us, Dr. Damages. We know, they're always on the opinion. I mean, come on now.
They
All
even
right.
call out for Nigeria, which is incredible.
All right. Your Max. I hope yeah, how are you? Welcome to the show. Unmute yourself. All right.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, sirs.
It's nice to see you.
Same here, sir.
So, did you watch Tinubu's speech?
I watched a little bit, but just listening to what everybody said. But there's one thing I'm just going to agree with. But I personally, I don't think I expect anything different. Like my brother was saying, or every time they do the same thing, and it's just in my head. I'm thinking, if it's a military parade, what else do you expect them to do? They will do their normal parade and go now. If they come next year, they will still do the parade. They will still do the parade. So I don't. For me, I don't think that is the issue. And to be honest with you, I joined this life for one purpose, just one. I don't want us to be part of the problem that Nigeria is facing. And how do I mean? That my brother was saying, somebody said is rude. I'm the one that said you're rude. Because whether we like it or not, the person that you want in the presidency might not be the person that is there. It still doesn't give us the right to call names and say stuff. You can be objective with your opinion.
Bro, were you the one that mentioned my dad?
Sir, listen to me.
Were you the one that mentioned? Because if you have mentioned my dad, use this opportunity and apologize to me.
Okay.
You shouldn't have brought my dad
Okay,
into this
hold
at
on.
all because you don't know who my dad is.
I didn't say anything when you were talking, right? Please, I beg you.
Somebody mentioned my dad. Somebody said,
Hey, go and look for the person.
that?
Go and look for the person. I'm just saying. Okay, listen, I'm just saying that whether you like it or not.
Order. You shouldn't bring my dad.
Sir,
Come on. You can critique me, fine, but don't bring my dad into this. You don't know my dad.
You see, this just tells me that you are really a part of the problem. You don't even know me.
I'm not part of the problem.
You're
Let me
educate
you. I've gone to a war for Nigeria. What have you done? How old are you? I'm older than you.
Okay.
You should listen to me.
So
when I'm talking, you should listen.
What do you think you listen? Who is this man?
You should listen. Because you've not done
Hold
anything for Nigeria.
Hold on, guys.
Sir,
everybody.
You see, let's just respect ourselves. When you were talking, nobody was saying anything. I was very quiet.
And your Max,
so why are you doing that?
Your Max, hold on. That's why we always say that it's always better to address the issue and not talk about people. Really, it's the issue that we're talking about. So I'll give you back a chance, your Max, to tell us what you think about Tinubu's speech and your reaction to that.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. So, like I said, from where I started from, let me just go back to that thing. For me, I think that whether we like it or not, in the space where Nigeria is or where Africa is as of today, let's face reality. I know that I have elder in this place, and then I'm coming to a meeting with you. What do you expect me to do? And I need something. I have to do whatever it takes to find favor in your side, whether we think is right or not. For me, I think it's just common sense. Even though, like say, on this show alone, we have two different opinions. Some part are saying, oh, that's a good speech. Some part are saying, okay, you know what? It may be a good speech, but I expected him to also touch on 1, 2, 3, which is a very fair argument. So all I'm just trying to say is, I do not expect him to be 100, and I don't think there's anybody that's 100 anyways. But the host says something which I think is very vital. When presidents meet each other, they will only show us the part they want us to see, but we cannot preempt what other things they're going to talk about. If that makes sense.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Yomex. Let me just point out, there was something you said that I didn't agree, Yomex, which was that I don't want to, I'm not putting you sincerely, but I always believe that people have the right to air their view, even if they are critical, especially people in political public space. So that's something that is a given. We cannot say to make life comfortable for people who are in public space, we shouldn't air our view. I think when you put yourself out there and say you are going to run for office, you should be willing to receive whatever people are giving to you. Okay, so that's my personal view, and I encourage that. I may not do what somebody else will do, but I allow people to air their view. That's really important to me. AY.
Hey, um, hello everyone.
Yes.
Good evening.
Mr. KJ, make a
You
throw
just
salute.
came back from a crusade.
Yeah, no, KJ is coming from UN General Assembly.
From UN Secretariat. UN
Yes, so
headquarters for New York.
KJ,
But
I
he's
wish
still in
to
New
say,
York.
He's
He's
coming
in New
from
York right
Washington.
now.
We tell us all about that. AY, go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I heard the last speaker really. Somebody, I just watched the speech. To be honest, I'm not even interested in the speech. If you listen to the speech, there is nothing unusual. It's just the same story we hear every time from the past president.
No, it's not the same story. There is always some differences. So, for instance, we've never had about Marshall Plan for Africa, that there is need for a Marshall Plan for Africa. We've never had that Africa is not a problem to be avoided. So there are new nuances. So go ahead.
So here is the thing, right? I strongly believe it's the same story, right? I don't have problem the president going to the UN or wherever he want to go, but I think we need to charity begins at home. We need to start from home. In starting from home, we have a lot of issues. Nigeria, we need to know one thing. We fail Africa. We fail the whole Africa, not only Nigeria. We Nigerians, we are just complaining of the leaders, but the truth of the matter is Nigeria actually fail Africa. And I want to believe there are some African people that feel this way. This is how I feel. So what we need to do, let's start building. Let's have a plan, a strong plan. Let's start building. Currently, you can start from Nigeria. The government needs proper communication to the people. Honest and proper communication, including plan. What plan do you have? You look for immediate plan, long-term plan. Your immediate plan, the economy is in shambles. People are hungry in Nigeria as we speak. What do you do? Where do you want to throw in the money? With what is going on now, the president came in, removed subsidy. As we speak, the price of crude oil is $95. Dollar is 960, naira is 960. If you want to really convert it and standardize the price of petroleum today, the pump price in Nigeria is definitely around 800, 900 naira. But now they are scared because they can't increase it anymore. It's going to be more poverty. I can tell you, their thinking now is the people are going to get on the street. This is coming if they continue doing this. So what they need to do is put more money in manufacturing, put more money in agriculture, put more money in refinery. If you want to start a new refinery, you can finish one refinery in 3 years. Why you repair the one we have? Work on this stuff. When you can provide petroleum to Africa, let's focus on Africa first. That would be a big win for Nigeria. You know, work because the economy is struggling now. You need to You need to do something to make the people happy. The other thing, the president, he started where in the first two months, in terms of uniting the country. One thing I saw him doing, he was going to meet traditional leaders, religious leaders. He was moving around all over the country. Some of them visited him. He needs to continue because we have division in the country. He needs to unite the people, not only by talking, by practice. Your appointment should reflect every corner of the country. What happened in the case of Buhari should not happen. Don't make some section of the country, any part of the country, like we are not part of this country. Don't make them feel that way. Unify the country. People will listen more to you. When you speak, people will listen. You need to look for a way to unify the country. Let people see it in such a way that even if anybody is telling me, oh, in my tribe, the president against us, I'm going to fight the president, I'm going to like, no, he did this for us. Why are you complaining? Unify the country. Unify the country, stimulate the economy, and start with this and focus on the economy, pump money to the system, work with the manufacturing, anything you need to ban, because we imported literally everything. What is wrong when we start importing some things? Last time we were having discussion here, KJ said something that every part of Nigeria, there is something they can offer. There is something the government can put money there and make them successful, make them benefit from the system. When you go to every state, what can you bring in Benue? They have food. Pop money, let them give Nigeria food. What can you produce in the north? What can you produce in the south? By now, we should even be talking of a trade system that only carry goods, move goods from north to south, from south to north. That's how we need to do it. What can you bring from the east? What can you bring from the west? What can you look at the country and really work across board, work with everyone? Let's start from there. So the hunger will reduce. Focus on security as well. That's another thing we should not forget. So people can go to farm. People will not be scared. Improve the security all over the country. You know, even the agitation, look for a way to calm it down. It's slow on this stuff. Even like, for example, the IPOB. I said this thing the other time. I said, call Nnamdi Kanu, call him, get him, sit with him in a meeting. Hey, Mr. Man, we're gonna let you go, but this, don't disturb the country. You can protest peacefully, but not the way you're doing it. Release him. Maybe that will resolve some problem in the southeast. Good. Call the leaders in the southeast. Also talk to them. In other region where they have agitation, talk to people, discuss with people. They will listen to you. You are the president. For now, even the parties, you should not forget the party, especially the Labour Party, the PDP. They might say, okay, let the case finish from Supreme Court. If they don't want to discuss with you now, wait for them, call all of them. Hey, listen, the case is over. If he's successful in Supreme Court, I talk to them. Listen, let's build it. Let's build this country, man. Work with them. Make sure you work with everybody. Except the person said, oh, I'm not going to work with you. He needs to really do all this to make the country peaceful, to have opportunity to develop, pop money in infrastructure. Our electricity, we are still waiting. Nothing is going on. Focus on all this area. Then we start from there before you run everywhere and be looking for investor. Because even the investor you're going to look for in India, in America, everywhere, they are scared. They will not come. The insecurity is there. The economy is not doing well. So when the economy is doing well, the security is good, people will come. Even Nigeria, there are Nigeria that have money in other countries, in abroad. They will come and invest. I want to go invest home. You know, so you will see the things will pick up, but you should focus on home first. It should build the nation, build everything, and before you start looking for investors all over the world. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. You touched on so many things, and I hope we'll get a chance to discuss it. I like what you were talking about. Something that happened like this week. I think it happened last week to the national grid. There was a time that we produced a whole nation of 200 people, produced about 200 million people, produced about 45 megawatts of electricity. Unbelievable. But KJ, welcome.
Good evening, Dr. Damages and every member of the panel. You see, it's not in my place to come to this platform during the week, and so I would just say I stumbled into. I said, Dr. Damages, okay, maybe it's something that he has broadcast again. But when I saw the title and I saw the gentleman sitting there, I said, no, this is not I've not seen this one before. So I said to just jump in. You have all spoken very well. The other young man who spoke before, AY, said something very interesting, which is always what has kept Africa where it is. We want to give respect to those who have destroyed the lives of our nation and our own lives. If the life of our nation, our own life was not put in jeopardy, I don't think most of us would be where we are today. So when you see somebody saying you should give respect to those who are in government, who are still playing the same old game that they played since 1960, you begin to wonder what the person's intentions are. Because you see, the truth of the matter is that each and every one of us, our lives are counting every day that passes. As me and you are looking at each other now, once we sleep and wake up, one day have been taken off our lives and may not be recovered again. And that's what happens to a nation. And that's why some generations have been lost. And only God knows what's going to happen to the ones that are coming behind us. Now, I didn't listen to Tinubu's speech, but picking from what you guys said here, I was just laughing here because Rudolph knows that in broadcasting, if you're not an origin of that country and you want to speak like them, you are rather annoy them. In fact, if you come for an audition and you're not an American or a British, and you come with your British English and you're a Nigerian, you probably will not get the job, except you have such an extraordinary skills before they can give you the job, because they want you to speak in your own natural way. Okay, they don't want you to speak like them because you're not one of them, whether they like it or not. I don't know any Nigerian who speaks better than an American than Victor Ladokun, who used to be my boss, but he still speaks like a Nigerian, and that's what he projects. So, coming back to what he has said, you see, there's an Igbo adage I want to throw in here. He says the anxiety of a dog lies in his tail. Okay, you see, all this running around, doing all this shaky, up and down. It's not going to help this administration. All that Nigeria needs to develop is in Nigeria. Nobody can come from outside and develop Nigeria. This is what we have been saying all this while. You have the technocrats in Nigeria, you have the manpower, the resources, the brain power to develop Nigeria. If we are not able to trade within Nigeria and make good what we already have, how can an industrialist come in and do that for us? Now, some of you who live in the US, you see I want to do a story on their trucking system, the trucking system alone. You see, it's a national asset that you can't even there. I was speaking to one of the trucking drivers, and he said, they are monitored like they monitor pilots. Okay, you must take once you do your 10 hours of driving, you must rest, and everything you are doing is monitored. Okay, so that you are kept in a good. You don't have to wake up tomorrow and say, "Oh, you cannot make it to maybe because you are tired or something, or there's a problem." So what am I saying? They have developed such a way their distribution system and everything is going like automatic. We have all this that is necessary. If I would have preferred that even before, instead of coming to the UN to make this speech that's not going to give us anything, get us anything, he called a national conference in Nigeria of majority of the people who are maybe professionals, farmers, traders, and all those people, and say, what do we do to move the economy forward? It will give you more results. It will give you more results. Okay. And so every sector will now say, okay, this is where the problem is, this is what the problem is, this is what the problem is. Then you get to solving it. And once you solve it, you have a free flow of the economy. And then people are happy. And when people are happy, they produce more. And there's a free flow. Money is released into the system. But we're going around, going to India and meeting a family and discussing a whole president of Nigeria going to meet a family to discuss, and they only gave you verbal promise, okay, and then you jump to to Saudi Arabia. I'm sorry, to UAE,
US.
and then so what am I trying to say? I'm in a nutshell. Nobody, see, all of us sitting here, whether you like Tinubu or not, you want Nigeria to succeed. You want there to be progress. Just like somebody said here, we are the biggest black nation. The place where more black people are concentrated on the face of the earth. It is very important that we know what we are doing. The
All
lie
right, thank
to other people. If we are doing that, okay. So let me just round up. If we are doing that, see, majority of the black Americans and all the rest who are going back to Africa, are probably going to Nigeria and not to Ghana. But everybody feels that Ghana is more important, and Nigeria is like New York, where Rudolph is. New York, it doesn't have any. You understand what I'm saying? So they don't want to come to Nigeria because it's like New York. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. I hope you are not saying anything bad about New York, because the world is in New York now. Everybody's in. You can't say anything bad about us. It's the most secure place in the world now. Local P, I want to hear what you think. Local P is trying to figure out how to unmute himself.
I can't. Something is just blocking my screen. Hello, everyone. How you doing?
How are you?
All right.
Yeah. What did I take from what you said? Nothing.
What are you going to quote when you talk to people tomorrow? What are you going to tell them that Tinubu said this? Tinubu,
Okay, one thing I will tell them, I will like, did you see what he did when he wanted to turn one of the pages? He put his hand in his tongue. That was what I wanted to tell everybody. But that was the reason I even came to the life. Like, did you see that? After shaking everybody,
Loco,
and now
that was a classic.
So that's your president, too.
That was a classic.
That's your president.
It's your president. After shaking everybody, you understand, to the place, then you now later want to turn your page and put your hand in your tongue, collect spit, still put on page. Like, what the hell?
Loco is trying to say that he's not a robot or an
And
AI.
there was I think and there's a teleprompter there, although it's not working anyway in their front there on the glass stand there. It's not working. Anyway, like what Femi said, yeah, they give this wonderful speech. It's not even wonderful speech, self, because it's only people in the UN that is wonderful to. We, that is the common people in Africa, the speech do not affect us. You understand? You talk about what happens to the world, then you come back home and you do nothing about it. You understand? The only thing I would have expected him to talk about is this 75,000 people that just crossed over to Italy. You understand? In that small town where there is 60,000. You understand? I was wanted to see, like, why African youth, jackbarring in that mass? Why? What's happening? I wanted him to make mention of that, and probably maybe the new Indian variant coronavirus. What's it called? Nipah or Pina. The new came out in India right now. I thought he wanted to say something like that, but he never mentioned of it. He was talking about the same old climate change, the same old whatever, and so nothing really much for me because I was just walking, snooping and listening to one
Yeah,
status.
Ovia was cooking beans. You were walking.
No, me, I was just walking through, like, okay, what's he saying? Okay, I was just walking past the
You
living
guys
room.
you guys don't take your presence seriously. All right.
No, it's not about seriousness. See, bro, look, gone are those days, right? Where during the Obasanjos and the Jonathans, where they were lucky that social media was not at this peak where it is right now, where we can gather each other, intellects, start discussing right now. So gone are those days where we're not in that era anymore. So this is where we are right now. So any little thing you do will come at you
Yeah,
instantly.
but the discussion will happen if you watched it. Let me give you an example. So I will tell you here, I will still have to study this speech, read it myself. But I will tell you here that he did not mention the Palestinian issue with the Palestinians. In the past, all our presidents, they always mention it. And then, of course, he did not mention the issue of...
That's what brought the issue of Russia. That I did not say Russia. You are saying, why should you say anything?
Because I will explain that. I will explain why it's important, and it's a change in foreign policy. You can actually say that we moved away from because he didn't bring it to this national war stage. Let me give you another example. There was no mentioning of Nigeria being a permanent representative at the United Nations Security Council. Something that is, and if you listen to other African presidents, I'm doing this for my class, so I had more at stake. If you listen to other African presidents, like the guy from Mozambique, he was actually talking about issues that should interest Nigeria, including the structure of the United Nations. So there are many factors and they don't just do this. It's also putting pressure on the world body to do something about certain things. It may look as if they are repeating it every year, and the same president will come. So there are some sense in the madness, method in the madness. But at this point, just like KJ, I normally don't come on this just because it's a particular special day. I will have to take off and hand it over to Mazi Scribe to take you from here. I have some things to do. Mazi Scribe, thank you so much. When you are done, close the shop. But when
you are done, close market.
I want to know what you think. Mazi Scribe,
Dr. Rudolph,
what do you think about the speech?
Dr. Rudolph, before you go, is your Twitter handle is it still active?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like you to check out one gentleman called Babatunde Gbadamosi. I don't know whether you heard of him. He vied for the Lagos State governorship, not this election, the one before.
Okay.
I think he's a very sharp guy and all that. I think he will have a lot to share with us, and we'll rub mind with him.
All right.
You can just reach out to him, or if you want his contact, I can get it for you.
Yeah, just send it to me. Yeah. You have my number.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll send it. Okay. Thank you. Mazi Scribe, what do you think? Let me hear you.
I didn't listen to the talk. I've been very busy.
All right. Take over the show. All right.
Okay. I think Loco was the one that went. Which are you going clockwise or anti-clockwise?
Oh, you can go back to Richard. I think Richard is next. Oh, yeah.
Okay, Richard.
Hold on. I think I saw
the floor.
Oh yes, Richard is starting again.
Okay. All right.
Please, you have the floor.
Oh, so I'm on now. Oh, all right. Okay. Thanks for the opportunity again. And personally, I would think we should spend more energy on what to do to bring the country back at our feet. How do we reconcile our people? How do we influence government decisions and policy making? How do we put the country where it should be internationally? So I think those are the things we need to do. And unfortunately, most of these things cannot be done until the Supreme Court comes out finally. Because most people, when you tell them, okay, let's all pool resources together, they will tell you not now. And you can't force people, or you can't force stuff out of people until they come out to offer help or advices by themselves. So I think we have 2 months or something. I think something like by the mid or end of November, we should know where we're going. But our people cannot wait till November, and then people are hungry. The economy needs to be boosted or induced. And I think the only way government can, because we have global inflation right now, they still have to be careful in putting money out there so that we don't go from global inflation to super inflation. So I think the only thing government can do is to increase the minimum wage. Talk to the labor union. Then talk to the governors, because this is the mistake we've been having since Obasanjo days. When Obasanjo came up with his own minimum wage, the state did not. So the federal workers have been getting new minimum wage. Meanwhile, they go to the same market. They live in the same community. So the federal workers have been at least enjoying the minimum wage during the 99, 2000 Obasanjo days. The state workers and the private workers were not. So that made them to fall behind. So what they can do this time around, they've increased or they've doubled, let me put it right, they've doubled the state allocations for the past 2 months. I think what he has to do now is to have a meeting with the governors, tell them this is what we came up to. We're going to move the minimum wage from 30,000 per month to 70,000 or 80,000 or 100,000. To be reasonable, I'm going to be honest with you, they have to increase it by 100% or more. You can't make it 50,000. No, it's still not going to do. So you have to move it from 30,000 to like 70 or 80,000. And make sure you tell Nigerians, because I don't trust the 36 state governors. What you have to do is to increase what you give them and come out and tell Nigerians that, hey, your governors have money now. We have agreed together to increase the minimum wage to maybe 70,000. I've given them the money. If you don't do that, Nigerians will not do the right thing. Let me give you an instance. When they had the first executive council, it told, because I watched it.
Sorry, Richard. Scribe, I think Ed want to come in. Scribe.
I think it's into something else. It's looking at his
this
screen.
guy? Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay, I had. So this happened recently. During the Buhari regime, people applied for the Nigerian international passport, and they didn't treat those passports. They didn't produce it. I think they have over 200,000 now behind. So when Tinubu inaugurated his ministers, the first meeting he had with them, he told them that they are the head of their ministries. Do not let your PAMSEC or any senior staff in your ministry tell you what to do. And if you give them any responsibility, they don't do it in 2 weeks, you have the right to give them queries. So the guy who is in the Interior Ministry, Internal Affairs, he had a meeting with the passport processing people and he said, I give you 2 weeks to produce those 200. And guess what? In the first 4 days, they produced 60,000 out of the 200,000. So that is who we are. If you don't hold a cane, Nigerians, we are not lazy. But if you don't hold a cane, Nigerians will not do anything. I know what I went through to obtain my transcript from OAU. They will tell you, oh, the madam is good. Oh, she's gone to take her kid in school and she'll never come back. Oh, she's not. And even if you are leaving, you got to hand over to the next person. Nigerians will not do that. They'll say, okay, come back tomorrow, come back in 2 weeks, come back. If you don't, because it's your regime. At the end of the day, nobody will say, oh, it's the PAMSEX regime. It's going to be Buhari's regime, Obasanjo's regime, Tinubu's regime, Atiku's regime, or Obi's regime. So if you are not strict with Nigerians, nothing will be done. We all saw what Mr. Wike is doing in Abuja. We've been having a minister for FCT. They were just doing what they liked. But when this guy moved around, you could see how he exposed them. He exposed them that we can't run a country like this. So most of the time, the people who are even most corrupt are the civil servants, not the politicians in most cases. They are the very corrupt people. When I was at University of Buffalo, in Buffalo, New York, in that school, University of Buffalo, we had 3 sisters. One of them is a brother, 2 sisters. And these people are children of civil servants from Lagos. So guess what? Where did their papa, who is a civil servant, came up with the money to pay international students fee for 3 kids at the same time? So you can see, when you go to Banana Island, Lekki and everywhere, Civil servants at times have more than 3 very expensive houses. That's the level of corruption in Nigeria. So one of the things they have to do is to reduce the corruption, block the loopholes. I understand we are not making enough money. The budget of Coca-Cola, the budget of Microsoft, the budget of Apple is bigger than the budget of the whole Nigeria. But the little we are making, if we block the loopholes, we can still be better. Food can go around. Nobody should be hungry. We don't really have to be rich. Everybody can be rich, just like it is in the Western world. In the US, most people drive day-to-day cars, Honda, the Toyota, not the Bentley or the Rolls Royce. But in Nigeria, they want to drive the expensive ones. Okay, go ahead, Tom.
I'll take it off from where you I'll touch
Okay,
on
go
the
ahead.
point.
All right, go ahead.
I'll touch on the point where you mentioned about increasing the minimum wage. I will respectfully say that will not work, and I will tell you from our finance, because I'm a bit into finance. What you'll see happen is we'll have a situation of what we call wage pool inflation. And what does that do? It confers a pressure on manufacturer on the
Manufacturers.
providers of labor, and that is passed on to the consumers. Now, the markets women in the market, for instance, let me just use a normal everyday pattern so everybody will understand. When that is announced, this sort of news filters and all that, they'll say, so they've increased your money now. Okay, the price of these tomatoes will not be 100 naira again. We need our own cut from that. There's nobody that is increasing our wages, so it's going to be 200 naira. So that would not solve what simply they need to do, and that was what I mentioned earlier, and I'm happy that my brother mentioned it too earlier, is economic stimulation, because our economy seems to be in comatose. There's not enough economic activities that will drive the economy. We need to start looking at factories. Why are they not working and all that? Like somebody mentioned, I think it was KJ that mentioned we need to stop importing some certain things and start looking inwards. What do we start consuming our own? The various section of the country, because we are so blessed and diverse. That is why I don't believe in the breakup of Nigeria. The East, this part of the East, what are they very good? Your states, they're very, very good with yam and all that kind of thing. We start encouraging farmers and all that. The so-called ministers should get not sitting in their fancy cars and all that. They should get on their trainers and go to these people, hit the ground running, go to these people, find out what is going on. And then the most important thing is security, because we can't do all these things if there is no security. We still have the so-called bandits or whatever you want to call them, that are still
Kidnappers and
kidnapping
everybody.
people, and all that. Then you have the issue of the herdsmen, the Fulani herdsmen going about with AK-47, and they are saying that why they carry AK-47 is because of their safety for their cows. We should look into it and dialogue as well with them. They shouldn't be allowing their cows to go into people's farm and eat up their farm. And when people confront them and all that, it becomes a tragic story. These things need to be addressed. And most importantly, you can't ignore IPOB, because the IPOB agitation is the most active agitation. Yoruba Nation is there in the background and all that. The issue of Nnamdi Kanu that has been released by he has been declared as an innocent man and all that. You release him. See, this sort of thing will remove a lot of stress and distraction for your government. And then Sunday Igboho, bring him back home. You see, but when you try to ignore these things and all that, they will not go away, because there are some problems that if you bury your head in the sand.
Now I want to take you on something you said earlier on the wage pool inflation. Don't you think that reduction of interest rates, fiscal policy? I'm just trying to scratch my head because when you were saying it, I was a little bit like, what do you think? Do you think, because you were outrightly against, you were saying it's not going to work, then what could work?
No, I'm
But
saying that it's just not enough. It's not just enough to increase wages by say 50 or 100% and all that. It's still
okay,
going to be another. Still going to be the same circle. The most important thing is reviving. Reviving the economy. What will stimulate the economy? Because when there is food, listen, when there is food and people are buying food at a very reasonable price, not necessarily cheap, because the word cheap is a relative word. Okay, so what is cheap
okay.
for me in England may not be cheap for someone in Holland or America. Okay, go on.
I get
Sorry.
your concern. You're concerned because the rise in wages can perpetuate rise in costs of living, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what about indexation? What do you think about indexation? If let's
About
say
Sorry,
what? Sorry.
indexation is cheap.
strive,
Indexation.
What do you think
strive.
of index?
That could work.
Sorry.
That
So,
could work. It's not just one thing. A lot of little things could work,
Mm,
but it's just getting. And listen, the problem Baba Tinubu is having right now. The advice is getting is from people that are still narrow-minded, that are still fixated. That this person didn't vote for you. Why should they be in your government? That is a bad advice. You
oh,
see,
yeah.
if they are asking obedience to move on, they too should move on from people that did not vote for them. They should move on from there and start
yeah,
looking at
We
if
need to move on.
Femi is the best.
can I say
If
something?
Femi is the best
I
brain
want
for this sector and all that, it
to,
should be given to Femi. It's not because he's
KJ,
bearing
some people have said anything,
Chudi
no.
or
Sorry.
Nnamdi.
So,
yes, I want to answer you because I'm not, and I
Mhm.
just want to respond to what you're saying. You see what Tony is saying, that any economic policy that does not reduce the food on the table of the ordinary man is rubbish, no matter how you look at it,
Mhm.
because that is the end game. And so right now,
reduce
what
or increase
he
the
should be
food.
aiming, I'm coming. What he should be aiming for right
Okay.
now is to put food in the table of every Nigerian. That is what will make sense to anybody right now, and not at
Yeah.
the way it's going. Because very soon now we'll be buying a loaf of bread for 1,000 naira, and that means, because remember
No,
that just
I'm,
like
I'm,
3 months ago they borrowed $3 billion, okay, dollars. They said they're going to bring down the currency. But you see, we've gone even beyond what it was before that time. So what I'm saying is, and what I think Tony is trying to say is that the ordinary man should be our target right now. You see, and I don't believe in that thing that labor
exactly.
comes.
Wait. Please don't
KJ,
get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I know exactly where Stone is coming. I just wanted to dig deep into what he was saying. I was
Sorry,
just playing devil's advocate. I'm
there's
not
something
against.
very
Oh my
important.
god. Okay,
Sorry, there's
let's
something
drop
very
this thing.
important I
Let's
don't want
drop
to
this thing. I was
forget
just
before
only
it goes.
going. No. He said something very interesting in my opinion, and he got
Mhm.
me thinking. So then I started asking him questions to help me just expand on what
Indexing,
he
yeah,
was
you
saying.
talked about
It's not
indexing,
like
yeah.
I'm not saying what he said. I never said what he said was rubbish. I didn't go against it. I was only trying to see all as much sides as we could see. So please don't, in case if I give a impression that
I
maybe I
understand.
was
You're totally
no, I
correct,
wasn't.
Moses. Yeah.
KJ, for your information, loaf of bread is above 1,000 already. So in case you don't know, yeah, for
Wow.
real,
Uh,
yeah,
let me just come in. Everybody is
yep.
very correct. KJ told Mars described. But this is what we have to, I agree. I mean, this is what we have to come together. There are two ways we can address problems. Immediate solution is what KJ went for. Let these people eat well. If people are well fed, they have the strength to work on their farms. When people are well fed, we save money that should have gone to primary health care. Because when people, most of the sicknesses that kills us is because we are not well fed. It gives opportunity
Malnutrition.
for, yeah, it gives opportunity for opportunity diseases to take over our humanity and kill us. When people are well fed, they have the energy, they live longer, they are healthy, they don't waste money in the pharmacy or in the hospital. And then what to said should be addressed simultaneously. Number one, if I were him or to advise him, I want the Nigerian police to double their intake. I want to create what you call the National Guard. And my own National Guard should be trained by the NDA. They have to be equipped because of these
Mr. Richard,
AK-47 Fulani guys.
Mr. Richard, let me just stop you there.
Okay.
Not just recruiting anybody. Should start recruiting quality people into so that the
Correct. Yes,
policeman,
yes.
like graduates, it will be like in the UK, right? When you speak to even a sergeant or someone that's entry level and all that, they are sharp.
They know what they're doing.
They are
Yes.
paid well.
Yeah.
We can help in Nigeria. You know, there are a lot of
That's part of the
graduates.
problem. They
There
are
are
not
a lot
well
of
paid.
graduates
Yeah.
out there that is the last thing that they will even consider.
Correct.
We should
Yes.
make it.
Correct.
We should
And
make it
give them some
remuneration.
benefit. For instance, it's
Exactly.
difficult to recruit in police in America. It's difficult to recruit in firefighting and teachers. Nobody wants to teach. But there are ways government makes it a little easier for them. Those three, firefighters, police, and teachers. This is what they do. Once you work for 15 years, then you can retire and qualify for the full benefit, healthcare, and all those things, which is not available to other workers. So if we can do that, hey, and if you are police, they kill you in the line of duty. We will insure your kids. They should insure their lives. That will make them to go out and do the right thing. Now we
Something
have a
came.
global problem.
Something else came to my mind, but I think
Okay.
it's going to be difficult because all the politicians, whether Labour or APC and everybody, they are all looking after their own pockets. At
That's
this
it.
time, I believe that we should call a sort of national conference. It will be like a town hall meeting for the whole Nigeria. Even if we have to have a public holidays for about 2 days, we'll talk about it. Tinubu should call for within the political across the whole political actors in Nigeria for sacrifice. This is a time that senators need to take some cut in their salary for at least
Sorry, I
six
don't mean to
months.
cut you off. Have you read the
Oh,
2004
local.
Sovereign National Conference?
They won't
Um,
agree to that. That's the problem.
They
it's
will not
already been
agree.
done. Okay, there's also the willing to. There are many things they can go back to that reflect the will of the Nigerian people. But anyways, I just wanted to kind of cut there. Ed hasn't said anything. I think he came in. Right, I just let him in. Femi hasn't
Yeah,
said
thank
anything.
you.
Eva hasn't said anything. So, but let me go
No,
to
I
Ed.
think you made 2014. Is it 2014?
2014 Sovereign National Conference in International Conference Center in Abuja. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So Ed, you have the floor.
All right, thank you so much, Scott. Can you all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think something to think about in this conversation is first to know what Tinubu's um, strategic direction is. Like as in what's really does he want to achieve? Because I mean, I don't know about his manifesto. I know he released the documents, but it would be good to know what's really does he want to achieve. The reason why I say that is he's making a lot of requests internationally, like or maybe going out there to talk to the international community about Nigeria. But let's be honest, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. For Obasanjo to secure debt relief, right? The IMF had to lay out with all the lobbying that Obasanjo did. They laid out some requirements that they wanted Obasanjo to fulfill, and part of that requirement was to come up with a program which will be vetted by the IMF to show and of course these are going to be metrics based program to show that Nigeria is doing a lot of things in terms of its macroeconomic direction, in terms of its social cohesion and things like that. I actually have a book in front of me that was written by Okonjo-Iweala that detailed some of the things that they wanted. They wanted strengthening of management of public finances, better prioritization of expenditure, restructuring the civil service, introducing transparency in government, business, and fighting corruption. So,
Reduce corruption. Yeah.
so when they, I mean, these are just like some of the things that they wanted when they presented this, and they wanted it to be within the framework of IMF. Okonjo-Iweala with the economic team then had to go back because, of course, Nigerians were not willing to hear anything about IMF, right? Because of our experience with the structural adjustment program. And they came up with a policy called the NEEDS policy, National Economic Empowerment and Development Strategy. So that was an homegrown strategy. And that was the first time that IMF was accepting anything like that for the purpose of debt forgiveness. It was a Nigerian homegrown idea. So it was Okonjo-Iweala, Nasir El-Rufai, Charles Soludo, and a lot of other people. I think Obi Ezekwesili were in that committee that came up with something like that, and they developed it. And that's how you saw that our economy grew at that time. You saw that in terms of corruption, there had to be at least a posturing that we're serious about dealing with corruption. And that's why we got EFCC and ICPC. And there are a lot of things that Obasanjo put in place that led to, and as in even with all of these things, there was a lot of lobbying and there was a lot of luck. Let me put that, because there are some very chance meetings that they took advantage of. Like I think there was a time that George Bush was giving a speech, and Okonjo-Iweala after the speech just quickly like, "Sir, I have something to talk to you about." You know, they did a lot of travels to Tony Blair, to George Bush, to a lot of strategic people. And the day they got debt forgiveness, Okonjo-Iweala stayed awake for 36 hours before she made her presentation to the Paris club group, right? So that's to tell you that it's not just as easy as going around, going to the UN meeting, talking about these things. Of course, those might be important, but there has to be a lot going behind the scenes, a lot of national reorientation, even. Because if you notice during Obasanjo's time, there was there was the NTA and AM Express and all that. There was a lot of jingles that went into as in promoting cohesion as a nation, trying to like reorient the average Nigerian. Those are things that I see that are missing with Tinubu, right? Tinubu is just trying to like, the way I'll describe it, like paint a wall that's not plastered, right? You're just trying to like put a veneer of, oh, I'm doing a lot internationally without doing the homework that needs to be done here. He gave a speech, and I mean, I didn't listen to it, but from what I heard, he talked about climate change. But if you remember during the campaign, the way he waved up that issue, so which posturing is Tinubu? You remember the whole idea of climate change being like a rat and how did he describe it? A rat and a poisoned Holy Communion. That was how he dismissed the issue of climate change during the campaign. But now all of a sudden, is the one promoting. So really, where does there has to be some consistency in your message, your messaging, and then I mean, look at his appointments so far. It's been fraught with a lot of nepotism. It's just been one-sided, and this is a country that really needs some level of cohesion. Yes, we know that there's a lot of legitimacy issue in the way he came into the presidency of the country. But at least the least that was expected of him is to not have this very one winner wins all approach. Like let's show that you are really ready to have a cohesive government. And you can see that with Obasanjo. It doesn't matter. It did not matter where you're from.
Yeah.
As long as you could do the job, he went out to get you. So what we have now is just a reincarnation of the Lagos Club. The same people, that Lagos team that's, did whatever I did in Lagos, right? Wale Edun, Cardoso, the same set of people. That's not the way. Nigeria is really suffering. That's not the way to rule Nigeria. Like, let everybody have a sense, at least knowing that you are beholden to these people, knowing that you did not get a majority endorsement from the people. You are just 8 million votes by what INEC gave you out of possible 24 million. So what as in, this is not the time to start being triumphal. This triumphalism that is just going up on about, like just showboating and like acting the ostrich. there is a lot of work that needs to be done if he's going to be the president. I mean, I'm not expecting so much from the Supreme Court, but if Tinubu is going to be the president of the country, unite the country and get to work. Show by reason of metrics-driven programs that Nigeria is moving forward. Otherwise, you will not get those concessions that you're looking for. It was wrote to the Arise TV guy that was interviewing Wale Adeyemo, the deputy secretary of Treasury, who's of Nigerian origin, and he asked the guy a simple question about what do we need to get a Walmart to Anambra or a Tesla to Nasarawa. And I mean, of course, the guy was trying to be political, but there was a point he made about there has to be that enabling environment, right, in terms of infrastructure. Because again, it's a capitalist-driven society. Yeah, so nobody's going to come there to lose. You know, you don't want to. I mean, there's a reason why they're taking their things to places like India. If we cannot deal with the simple issues of electricity, the simple issue of security, the simple issue of even transportation. KG was making a point about the truck system. Of course, some of us here in the US, unlike maybe the UK, we drive a lot in the US. You see someone would be walking 2 hours away from where they live, and they will drive to work because there is a very, very good, network of roads, to enhance things. And even at that, they're still even complaining. Talking about how the US needs to really work. You see the US, they're always constructing roads. If roads that
Ed, can I take you on something? Can I, if you don't mind me interjecting a little bit?
No problem.
Is that okay? So I really like your point about the the Nasarawa, Tesla in Nasarawa and all that. But if you look at Tesla as a case study, Tesla, what's that? Charging stations, right? Tesla is in all across North America, Canada, everything. So they're investing heavily, and they're building that enabling environment is not there. In terms of like how the grids flow and everything, they pay for everything. They bring the power there. They do everything. So
yeah. So
don't you?
Sorry, just
yeah.
let
Go
me
ahead.
just
Go ahead.
something about it. Because I think what you want to know is what the US is doing about it. So
Mhm.
recently, based on the I think it was the Green Deal or something that Biden came up with. I was listening to an NBC documentary about it. So they're trying to actually have road networks that can automatically charge electric cars. So the electric vehicle sector now is just 14% of the automobile industry from about 4% some a few years ago. And so now in response, the government is trying to build road networks that would automatically charge those vehicles. So they are, of course, they're still a little bit behind schedule, but they're doing things in that regard.
Okay, no, but that's not where I was going. But good point.
Okay.
Where I was going is, you made the point that that the guy, the Wally guy, made a point that it's the enabling environment that is there. But one other thing is that the reason why I use that analogy of Tesla, what gives them the impetus to go ahead and take the bull by the horn and force the issues by doing everything to make sure that they have those powers, those charging stations, as many as possible, is because the market is there.
Yes.
Now, I'm not talking in relation to Tinubu or any point that you're saying. I'm just saying, I'm just talking generally. Don't you think, as a people of 200 people, don't you think maybe if you look at it that the numbers of the gap between the wealthy and the poor is one of the reasons why foreign direct investment isn't coming in that respect, to take that risk, for example.
True, but I think the point you're making is more of a consumer facing direction.
Yes,
In terms
exactly.
of is there a market for Tesla cars? But I'm thinking of it from a production perspective.
Production. No, exactly. No, I'm just I'm giving you the other side of the coin. Yeah, exactly. So but it goes back to that my points that Tone was making earlier. It's a kind of way to tie those points together. That if, let's say, if a government were to come up with a way to then make or give an outward perception of a consumer base that exists, even though they can't really do much. Because one of the things they can do, Stone talk about, if you increase the wages, it doesn't really do anything. But also, if you
Sorry,
also can match productivity, create more jobs, right?
sorry,
And
Mas,
then,
let me quickly make this
yeah,
point.
okay,
I said
I don't know if you understood my point, though.
I understand your point, but I think
Mhm.
like in economics, there are two ways you can use to you can use to maximize.
I'm not
You
an
either
economist.
maximize.
I just have
Okay,
interest in economics.
you either
I'm not an
maximize
economist.
you either maximize profit or you minimize cost. So those are two ways to
Mhm.
get to your whatever
Go.
objectives you're trying to get to. So I think the where there is some play for Tesla in Africa would be in terms of minimizing cost. Because of course they're closer to the inputs that will require the lithium and things like
So you're
that.
driving towards
And
like giving them subsidy and maybe
no,
giving
like
them.
they can come. Of course, that's the model that India uses. But in India's case, it's actually more of labor. You have cheaper in quotes labor in
Yeah, but
India.
isn't that you're now talking to my point of you know so you've itemized all those factors or all those enticing things that could come out. Don't you think? By the way, I don't know India or in this context, right? But I'm imagining that India has sat down and sort of like done a good job of presenting the bargaining chip to those kind of company. Don't you think Nigeria can do the same?
Of course,
And increase productivity, increase jobs, and then that way we'll get to some kind of economic equilibrium.
of course, of course.
I'm
I
I,
mean, let me allow other people to talk, but I
I'm
think
just
there's
I'm just
No,
looking
but
at.
yeah, I'm just trying to
Hold on,
you
guys.
know,
Hold on, guys.
drag some
I'm
of these points.
I'm just
Okay.
looking at you people with one eye. When we don't even have electricity, you guys are talking of electric cars.
No, we're not deluded.
no,
No,
no, no, no,
no,
no.
no, 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 no. Wait,
We're not
wait,
talking
wait,
about.
wait, wait, wait,
Sorry,
wait,
Scribe.
wait.
Sorry, Scribe. Let me
Yeah,
quickly make
please go
something
ahead.
clear. We're not talking about importing electric cars. We're saying
what I was
manufacturing it in Nigeria
Okay, I think
because
maybe so.
because
AY.
we have the inputs. But then the electricity question still comes because you need
Okay, no, 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 no.
electricity
Wait, 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 wait. Let's switch it. Wait, wait. Let's switch it.
to
Let's
power
forget
the
Tesla.
manufacturing.
No, no. AY, look at it. We use Tesla as a case study, but we're not deluded to the fact that there's no electricity. What if it was a chocolate making company?
Yeah.
Right? It could be any company. No, no, no. Get me point. It's not. We're not really doubling down on some of those things that you said. We agree with you, but it was more of a very hypothetical, high level abstraction that we're trying to build. You
You
understand?
see,
Then we could
Mas,
easily,
can I quickly comment?
yeah. Somebody has left.
Hello?
He
Everything
said he
went
wanted to
off.
come in and he left. Okay.
Can I comment?
Oh yeah. Guy Richard,
Thank
please
you.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Personally, everything Mr. Ed said, well spoken. To me, yeah. Personally, I don't know if I'm right. I'm still very skeptical about Tesla. I have to tell you, I don't know anything about second-hand value. I've never seen the 2009 model still on the road. And I have some friends that had it when I was in New York City. This is what they do. Number one, they've not, even here in America, they've not trained technicians or mechanics to repair it. When your car has fault, you take it to the Tesla manufacturer or dealership. So all those things has to be looked into in Nigeria. And besides, even in America here, Tesla has not started making 40,000, 30,000
I
cars.
want to apologize.
Nigeria is not
Let
ready
me,
for test.
Guy
Even here in
Richard.
the UK, it's the same
Guys,
thing.
wait.
Huh?
I need to.
I
Wait,
say here in
I
the
need to
UK,
help.
it's the same thing, the same scenario.
Tone,
Nigeria is not
please,
even ready
please.
for
I made a
electric cars.
mistake. Wait. Please don't be annoyed. I think I was one that brought in this Tesla thing, but I brought it with the view of sort of like using it as an example and
Correct.
use it to direct it.
Yeah.
Now some of the specifics that you're going into is fine, but it's not necessarily where
You meant
the
to go.
discussion
Okay.
should go. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That
Okay. Let me
the
that.
granular or whatever issues that
right.
Tesla has is not really what my intention was using Tesla and then as a
As
help
a case study.
to
Yeah.
to
Okay.
get those abstractions and the
Okay.
commonalities
All right, I
to
get
an
that.
industry and then apply it, that would help come up with
Correct.
sensible policy. That was
Yeah.
where I was going to.
Okay.
And then,
I
so
apologize
not
for that.
necessarily
But
that there are no mechanics or this thing, no. That's not where I want this
okay, you were
discussion
going.
to
Okay.
go.
So I withdraw that. So okay. So
So
okay,
please,
let me
go
look
ahead.
at it from another angle. Personally, I would have let's start from somewhere. What Africa has ahead of other Western world is we have the natural uh, resources. This is what we can do. Do not take limestone from Africa and take it to China. Do not fell our trees and take it to China to make toothpicks or lead pencil or your ruler. So tell them, let's invite them. Come and make your lead pencil in Nigeria.
Exactly my point. Exactly my
Yeah,
point, Mr. Richard.
exactly.
Yeah.
So when they manufacture, and we'll tell them you have to hire 60% of our workers. That's what they did to America. America was the first person to make the train. When American company was the company that built the first train in China, and China gave them this whatever. That number one, you have to during when you are making it, you have to train our engineers, and you have to hire 60% of our workforce. Today, if America wants to make train, they don't make it here no more. China is now their organ. They will order it from China. So we have limestone to make marbles and the rest. But this guy they will take it, to China, and then they will come sell the marble to us. So we are not being hired. They will fell our trees and come sell toothpicks and ruler and pencil to us. It's not helping us. Now, this is why the West are romancing Paul Kagame in Rwanda. It's because of Congo. Congo is well blessed. The resources are there, but they need a dictator who will help them to suppress the people there, and so that the West will be able to steal those resources. So they're taking all those resources from Congo and maybe a little manufacturing some of them in Rwanda and taking the rest out of the continent. It's unfortunate. So the West, it's difficult to deal with them, except we can, in a way, because if you are as a president, if you are too strict and they don't like you, they might go after your life. That's the thing with the West. It's difficult to deal with them. But we can, in a
Okay.
way, try to play our diplomacy very well.
Can I make my point because I need to go. I have one other
Please
thing.
go ahead, Mr. KG.
Now, here is my final take on all this. You see, if we continue to play the game we have been playing with these people, we will never get developed. So first and foremost is for you to search within. And like I said, with Nigeria, if we have sincere leaders who actually think we are a nation. You see, why there's agitation for the Biafra state is because we can see that there's no good intent to create a nation out of Nigeria. So our thinking, our policies are skewed towards a direction that will not give us progress. If not, if like I said here, if you take those people who fabricate parts in Onitsha and show them what is wrong or show them the things you have problem with in Port Harcourt refinery, Kaduna and the rest, I can assure you that those guys will put that in working. If you go to Plateau, you can get enough potato and other vegetables that can feed Nigeria. If Nigeria is interested in developing Nigeria, federal government, why don't you partner with those farmers? I'm not saying partner with states. I say partner with the farmers and get things going. If you go to Kaduna, you look for what is there. In fact, I know that soybean and the rest are grown up there. Benue has soybean. So what am I trying to say? Let us first pick the low-hanging fruits. The low-hanging fruits is begging to be plucked. Let's plug them. Let's use them. Let that be what will jumpstart what we want to do. When we have finally put ourselves together and we can now speak with one voice, then we sit down with people, policymakers that are not even. Someone just read. I just did the presentation of Gozi. That lady is still there. You still have the Ezekwesili of this world. You see so many of them, both north and south, east and west. There's intellectuals that can craft. In fact, Nigeria have never, to shock you, Nigeria have not had a problem with policy. As a matter of fact, Nigeria has one of the best policies in the world. But who implements it? Nobody cares to implement it. Nobody even look after the document is finished. They just file it away. It's called KIV. Keep away. Okay, you keep it away in there, and then we go again. And then when the next person comes, he organizes his own, people to do the same research and all that. So right now, we are not sure. And well, let me not say sure. For me, I know that Tinubu is winning the. In fact, they're going to declare him finally, president. So let's him put his act together, not be in a hurry to please anybody. I'm serious. Let him first of all say, okay, this is the job you have been looking for the whole of your life. Now you are here. How do I make a difference? If you go from that point of view, you will not only just pick anybody, but you will look for those who can deliver what you need. And if they're not delivering, you sack them. You see, that's why some people don't like Donald Trump. But I like Donald Trump. If he plus you are not doing what he wants, he sacks you. He doesn't need to apologize for it. Okay? Because at the end, the buck stops. All right? So that's my final take here. Let the government learn to say whether they want to build a nation or they want to play this nonsense game we're playing with Nigerians. Thank you. And I'll be at the background. Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Me too. All right.
Nigeria is a scam. You're very well true. Femi, okay. Femi hasn't said anything since I took over. So Femi, I think you go. Or let's hear Nigeria is a scam, and then after that, Femi.
Oh, thank you, Mazi Scribe. Good evening from here, everyone.
Are you in Nigeria?
No. I'm in Wisconsin, United States.
Okay.
Yeah, I've spoken before when Dr. Damaji started this program. This is my first time. Today is my first time anyway being on this program. Yeah, I thank you, Tone. I thank you, Femi and Mr. Richard, everybody here. Yeah, I want to start with what Loco P said. Yeah, he said Nigerians are drowning on Mediterranean Sea. That's the fact. For Tinubu to tell the UN that Africa or Nigeria is not a threat to avoid or whatever, they're gonna be laughing. Man, these people go to laugh because they know what's going on. Social media is everywhere. They see every update. Some people were kidnapped in Enugu State on Sunday. 7 people were kidnapped. Today, at Himembano, soldiers were killed. And our president is telling the whole world that Africa, is not a continent, to be afraid of. We have a couple of coups going on in Africa. So we just making a joke of ourselves. That's my opinion. Then secondly, I want to talk about what AY said before. He said the government is afraid of people, going on the street. They're not. They are not, man. My brother, these people, Nigeria is a lawless country. People are afraid to die. Me too, I'm afraid to die. You can't protest in Nigeria because we don't have a policy. KJ said now before he left that Nigeria has the best policy. Hell no, it's not true. It's just on paper. Nobody goes by what we have as a constitution. These people can never make a law that will cut down their pay. The people in the House of Assembly. Never. It's not possible. These are gang of, I don't want to use the wrong, word here. We are in the hands of, gang of people who don't care about you. All they care about is themselves and their children, and they are grooming their children to take over from them. Okay, look at what happened in a church in Nigeria. A pastor died. His son, who was, living abroad, came back to take over, to talk to people who have been shouting Jesus and all that with all their heart to praise God and worship God. Somebody from nowhere came to preach to them, and everybody's loyal to the man. So let us not deceive ourselves. So the third one is I wrote everything down. Yeah, Tone said something about people well fed and they're gonna do the right thing. I mean, these people, they will never, allow people to be well fed. How? It's not possible. AY said before that the dollar is 960 today, which is true. So these are things that are not obtainable. We should not deceive ourselves. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, it's better for us to keep speaking out as we are doing. I mean, I appreciate you guys for real. I watch you guys since last year. I watch what you guys are doing here. It's not easy, taking your time, maybe to relax, do other things for your families, and you are here, trying to make Nigeria a better place. Then the other one is about passport. I went to Nigeria January this year to obtain my passport. I went to Oka. I slept over. I paid hotel. I paid for hotel. I lodged in a hotel just because I couldn't, get what is it called, capturing. I didn't plan for that. I had to call my wife to send me money to pay for hotel. At the end of the day, people I came before them, probably, I don't know, a man who came with his kids, he lived abroad. I don't know what he did. He was let inside and he was captured. They took their passport and went home. The roads are bad. Nothing is working. Let us not deceive ourselves. IPOB, I don't support whatever they are doing, but I don't blame them. In the same hand, people are suffering. We all have families back home. If I was sending maybe $200 for my family past few months, man, I'm gonna be sending $500 right now. It's hurting. Everybody's hurting about that. Nobody's, is having it funny. So I don't know. I don't know if disintegration of Nigeria will be the best option, but in a judicial way. So I think I'm
No, the
gonna stop
situation
right
is
here.
not.
Huh?
We've gone too far in our unit in our relationship with each other.
No,
Yes,
no,
there's
no,
no.
no, 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 no. Hold on, sir. Hold on, sir. 1 second,
Yes,
okay?
go ahead, sir.
Okay. We have other countries. Russia, was Soviet Union. How long were they before they separated? Scotland right now with England, UK, how long have they been? Okay. So nothing like too long. It doesn't matter. It's not about too long. It's when you wake up, it's your morning, right? We might be getting it wrong all this time, but whenever
Yeah,
we discover and realize our mistakes, somebody said about coming together like national conference and all that. We did it before. Oputa panel was there. Even Goodluck Jonathan did the same thing. Somebody stood up during Goodluck Jonathan national conference from Adamawa State. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he said, if you guys don't want us to be here, we have a family in Cameroon. We can go back home. It's not about the time. It doesn't matter about the time. So the important thing is, it's not about how many times you fell. Were you able to rise up again? That's the important thing. It's not about I was born in artisan quarters, Enugu. The Fulani men I met growing up, they are different from the ones killing people right now. I
exactly.
must say the
That's my
truth.
point. That's
I
my
must say the
point.
truth.
Wait,
For
wait,
real.
wait, wait. Hold on. Let's explore that. Okay. Just the same thing with me. I grew up in Lagos. The number of Yoruba or Nigerians I had around me, I didn't when I was going through primary school, secondary school, I went to FGC. I didn't know who was Igbo or who was not Igbo. It was only maybe in the last, say, 16 years that things started, changing, right? So that's what I meant by what I said by we've gone too far. At least I'm alive. I can remember very well when, I mean, there was a little bit of, all these, oh, don't eat Yoruba people's soup or don't trust the Yoruba guy. Yeah, those things were not, they were not like how it is right now. It's like, it's too much, So, but when I say like we've gone too far, what I mean is like, I don't know if you know, but there are a lot of blended families that we have in Nigeria. The same thing with the Scottish, same with the Russian. But I think Nigeria's difference is that the main thing is that we've not actually even tried national cohesion as far as I can remember. The minute the Igbo coup happened, the first thing they did was to make
No,
sure
no,
that
no, no,
Igbo
no,
people-
no, no, no. Oga, it's not Igbo coup. Don't
it
say
was
that.
not an Igbo coup, but
Okay.
wait, according to literature, wait now, follow me. Solum Namo. Okay, so
Please,
when
this
the
area
so-called
you
Igbo
guys
coup,
are going, we will not live here. Oh. Let's focus on the economy.
anyway, it's a very where I'm. Yeah, you're right. Where I'm going is people are saying, "Oh, I'm preempting you." I apologize if I did preempt you, but I just wanted you. I just wanted to kind of. Anyways, maybe I'm not succeeding, but anyway, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But my point is that I think we haven't actually. We have never been a country. We've never been like Nigeria.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
we've never really given it a shot. So why should we then say that it will not work? That's another side of looking at it. So please finish your thoughts because I preempted you. Please.
Oh, okay, okay. I mean, I don't have much to say, but my point is that the truth of the matter is we have to search our conscience. Let us not come here and speak based on sentiment. You know, everybody want a good Nigeria, working Nigeria. You know, where people at home, will be happy. Live normal life like normal people. People back home, they don't live normal life. We don't have power. And we are here talking about electric cars. Are we not making a joke of ourselves? We are. We don't have power. You know what I'm saying? We don't have power. Why are we talking about electric cars? These are secondary. We don't even have to bring that topic right here. We should talk about it. Okay, APC chairman broke commissioner's head just for palliative, a bag of rice, a sachet of rice, not even a bag of rice. And our president is telling the world that we are not a threat. How? The West are not like that. I live here. Okay, when Tinubu got into office, my co-worker, he's an American. He said, "I heard you guys have a new president who is a drug dealer." I was ashamed. I told him, "Hey, no, don't go there, man. It's not even certain." But in my heart, I know that it is true. But I have to cover our nyash, in that palace. I had to do that. So these people know what's going on.
Yeah.
After our
Thank you
president's
very much.
speech or Nigerian president's speech, these people will be laughing at us.
Thank you very much.
So,
I appreciate
all right,
Nigerian
thank you.
Scam. Please let me hand over to Femi.
All right,
Femi,
thank
sorry,
you.
Okay,
you have the
Thank you.
floor.
who
Thank
is
you.
Femi time?
Yeah, perhaps a
Yeah,
good way
Femi.
to pivot from what Nigeria is a scam just said. um, and of course, it's true. It's sad, but it's true. But however, when you've been shown an example of a Trump in my country of residence, America, then you can't complain too much about Tinubu if you really look at it in truth. You can. I mean, can you do any worse than Trump in terms of the baggages that it comes with? But that's on the lighter side. Now, I want to take a different, I mean, not so different approach, but I think I have an idea. Like someone would say, I have an idea of something I particularly like, because I think a lot of times I like to imagine that we Nigerians are not just a prayerful people, we're also a hopeful people, and rightfully so, you know, because without hope, I mean, people are literally dead anyway. Now, I mean, not literally. I take that back. Now, so I like the fact that Bosu Tijani is manning that ministry of what's it called,
Digital.
Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy. And the reason why is because of his antecedents, right? And hopefully, because Nigeria is an interesting country, but that's how bureaucracy is run generally across the world. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's just Nigeria now. And the reason why I am particularly interested in him, and keep in mind there's two of them. Mazi Scribe, you would know there's another guy there. That's the one that has about 18 certifications and all those them things. So so it's not alone. in this matter. Now, the reason I'm interested in him is I am looking at specific parastatals that fall under him, especially the Nigerian Communications Commission, maybe NIPOS, and of course somehow they've managed to put that Galaxy backbone as some. I don't know how that works, but anyway, I'll just add that together. But I would you see where I'm heading pretty soon, as well as in NIMC. And remember, there was, I think, towards the election time, there was a particular edition of this should I call this town hall now, where there was a lot made about data. I think it's high time that, especially with regards to the way we want Nigeria to move forward, data is definitely very important. That's on one hand. On the other hand, and vis-a-vis the fact that there's 3 ministries that actually have economy in their name. I don't know what the thinking is, because this is in response to something. And again, this is not me trying to advocate for Tinubu. I'll keep saying it. I did not really want him to be president. If for nothing else, I wanted fairness, because to your point, Maz, and I know I'm all over the place now, but I'm going to coalesce my point eventually and round up. One of the reasons why I feel Nigeria is the way it is, and even Africa as a whole, is that outside of trying to blame the West, there's just the commonsensical thing about fairness. Like I find it difficult to sit as a Yoruba guy. There's some difficult conversations that we don't like to have, but I find it difficult to sit as a Yoruba man, for example, knowing that there's something called fairness, whereby you want to build a nation, and we're so many ethnic groups and ethnicities, and even diverse tongues as well, because there's more than 500 varieties of languages speaking in Nigeria beyond what we are told. On top of this, you now introduce what Ed has already spoken to, nepotism, which again speaks to what you were alluding to, Maz, because I didn't know you were going to talk about that. It was one of the things I noted down, that growing up in Kaduna, being born and growing up in Kaduna, I promise you, I never knew the difference between, because apart from the fact that we were sheltered, I don't know how my parents did it, but I just did not know the difference. It took me to move to Lagos to know the difference. And then my eyes opened up to the deep-rooted animosities.
Different what?
Rooted animosities that exist dating back to post-independence. But anyway, that's on one side. Now, let me now round up on why I took the position I took originally when it came to the Minister of Communications. Recently I did like some kind of boot camp. No, that was earlier this year, really. With a guy that actually was the main trainer was from Nigeria. And later on I realized that there's a lot of Nigerians that could easily, beyond even my imagination, I knew Nigerians are intelligent. We know there's no two ways about this.
Mm-hmm.
So in my head, I was now thinking, maybe perhaps if we can get to a point where we can do the same thing that got Hyderabad in India, just Hyderabad now in India, to a position where it finds itself today, that might be one of those low-hanging fruits that, for example, you were alluding to, because there's a lot of Nigerians there's available hands right now. They're in my opinion, we're ready. So I am just hoping that this will be one of the things that's going to catalyze the economy, that's also going to help us, because Nigerians are really ready. But the only way we can do this is if power, that electricity, is readily available. Because whether we try to bring investors into the country, or we. I mean, I don't even know what you want to think about. Without that power, I think we're just wasting our time. Full stop. I rest my case there.
Okay. Okay. AY, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. So I want to go back to um, what some of the stuff Ed earlier said. Yeah, so this is my second time of speaking. The thing is, so when you actually go back to Obasanjo government, right? Well, Obasanjo, yeah, I mean, he could have done much things, but there were some things he did very right. He was very intentional about the unity of the country. That's one thing you will give to OBJ. So any president that is coming, we don't need, I always say this, we don't need an Hausa president, we don't need an Igbo president, we don't need a Yoruba president. All we need is a Nigeria president, somebody that will represent everybody. Once you're a president of Nigeria, you represent the good, the bad, and the ugly. The political parties, all the tribe, all the religion, everybody. If you want to be Nigeria president, you need to be ready for that. And for if Obasanjo was successful with that in 1999, today we are in a better position. Like some of the stuff Ed said, right? How Ugozi Iweala was able to help the economy, help the system. If I were Tinubu, we have Ugozi Iweala there. Amina is in UN. I think she's the deputy chairperson or something. We have other Nigeria across, even within America here, some in government. One thing Obasanjo used to do, when he goes to Washington, D.C., he's looking for a power engineer expert. He will tell the people, hey, I need so person. He's looking for an economist. Hey, I need so person. You know, like Tinubu should make use of these people. Ugozi Oyola, even if she's not gonna resign to come and work with the government, she can be used as an advisor to achieve some things, right? Call her to sit down with her. Hey, this is what you try to achieve. How can you help? You know, what can you do for the country? This is your country. Talk to her. Talk to people that can get the job done. The other thing, this issue of nepotism, they should take it very seriously. Today, in Nigeria, we have six geopolitical zone. Honestly, there is nothing wrong. Let's say you are looking at 20 appointments, 20. Let's say you are looking to give out 20 appointments in the next 3 months. What is wrong looking at this zone? Distribute this number, kind of like, okay, oh, I gave this zone this, now I'm moving to this zone. You know, kind of spread this thing around. Even if you are doing it zone by zone, it's going to reduce tension in such a way that you are not concentrating all the appointment in one zone. I know the argument of people is, oh, yeah, they're going to get the job done. I used to think like that, but today, every region, every state, every local government, they have people that can get the job done. It's just to look for them. You know, it's just to look for them. Let's be serious about this stuff. Then on the issue of the Tesla and the electric cars, you guys should discuss it. Trust me, I think we are not there yet. We are not there yet at all. Because
No,
America is
AY,
just like
sorry.
that. I know the new buildings. For example, they installing like electric cars infrastructure everywhere, which is good. But in Nigeria, come on, we don't even have light.
AY, can
We
you
are
hear me?
struggling. But
Can you hear me,
however,
AY?
even if you want to do anything in Nigeria today, even if you want to do anything in
Yeah,
Nigeria
we
today,
could hear you. There's nothing wrong with your set. Just go.
is it
AY,
good
go
now?
ahead.
Okay. Even if you want to do anything in Nigeria today, yeah, the focus is gonna be maybe Lagos and Abuja for a start. Yeah, we could start from there because the electric cars like Tesla, not that they are too strong. We don't even have roads. That's another thing. How you gonna drive electric cars from say Lokoja to Abuja? The roads are bad, so you're gonna solve a lot of trouble. You're gonna have a lot of trouble. So I think our focus should be let's start with the main things like electricity. Like I said earlier, focus on infrastructure, focus on manufacturing, focus on the nation first. This issue of you going to abroad to look for investors, I really have that if investors will come to Nigeria. Because right now the state of the nation is a mess. But when you have economy that is good, security is good, trust me, these people will come and invest. Investors don't want to. They are not Father Christmas that will come and add over everything to you. They coming to make their money. They're gonna look at why am I going there? If they are not there, if they know they are not gonna make profit, they are not coming. You are wasting your time, bro. They're not gonna play with their money, you know.
Yeah.
So when you have a country that is stable, people will listen to you. Don't go outside and beg. Build from home. Today, India's countries are listening to Indians today. Countries are willing to talk to them because how they've developed, right? You know, so we just have to we have a lot of eternal work to do. Let's start from there. I
Yeah.
mean, everything is in a mess. Like the other thing Ed said, right? I mean, what is the president? What is the plan? What do you want to achieve? So these are issues. Focus on things. What do you want to achieve? What do you want to achieve in the next 1 year?
Mm.
You know, focus on this stuff. The ministers now, you gave them portfolio, right? So do you have how are you going to measure their performance? You know, how do you want to measure their performance? You need to look at their performance. Hey, 6 months, 6 months. What is your plan? Talk to the ministers. If they are not giving you result with the plan, they are some give it to you. They are not giving you result. Get the person out. Kick him out. Look for other people to another person to replace the person. But you know, they gotta be do everything politics, politics, politics. You know, so they need to be very intentional. I think the work at home is a lot. The president, I'm not saying don't go to UN, don't go to wherever you want to go, but
Mm.
focus at home. Start working. Let people see, communicate with the people. Long-term plan, short-term plan. Be honest. Be honest with the people too. Don't come and tell us what you want to hear. Oh, the president want to build some houses in the sky. No, come on, like just be honest with Nigerians, you know. Let Nigeria believe in the government. Give hope to the people. I think people, because you need them, people will listen. But otherwise, we just gonna ramble front our back. Nothing will happen. This government will just die away like simple pendulum. So they just have to wake up and
Thank you
really
very
have
much.
a plan. Thank you.
Sorry, can I
I'll
can
be
I can I
honest with
quickly
you
say
guys.
something?
Sorry. Oh, just 1 minute, please, if you don't mind. I'm beginning to feel myself. Yeah, I'm beginning to, to feel sleepy.
Okay,
Really?
So I think I think I can go for another 15 minutes, please.
okay. Let me just quickly
I
take
need.
two minutes
I've
out.
had a long day. I actually was hoping that I could be listening to this and working, but I failed.
Oh.
I've been
All
struggling.
right.
So,
And
Ed, if you
you've not
could
been
go ahead,
showing
then we can just wrap up and call it a night.
you've not been showing up a lot recently, but it's good to see you again.
Man, I had a baby,
Yeah.
man. So like
Oh wow.
yeah, I've
Oh,
been in
okay.
the trenches.
You're gonna
Yeah.
go up all night.
Congratulations.
Thank you,
That's
thank
lots
you,
of
thank you.
work.
Ah,
I
Yeah.
no, I've been in the studio helping out with other things, but like I've not been like because coming out it's really difficult. Then I have to leave. It doesn't make sense. So I just give somebody else that spot. So yeah.
Okay, great. So the points I wanted to touch on, AY was talking about Nigeria not being ready for Tesla. For me, I'm not looking at it from the point of we buying Tesla cars. I'm actually looking at them maybe bringing their factories to manufacture those
Exactly. For West
because
Africa.
yeah, because we have not even for West Africa, we're very strategically located in terms of being able to get that worldwide spread. We're not that far from like Europe, and then we also
Mhm.
have that connection, and we have the inputs, which is most important. But then I also get your point because we need to figure out some things that will make the ease of doing business in Nigeria better. So apart from power, there's also the issue of the kind of bureaucracy we have, in Nigeria. Let's start from even the ports authority, and I forgot to say that one of the problems that Okonjo-Iweala said they could never solve, which they wanted to solve, was that ports authority thing. Like ports and custom is the hardest sector to reform in Nigeria. But if we can maybe crack a little bit of that in terms of maybe dispersing um, the clearance of our imports by having other ports authority outlets, maybe in Warri, in Port Harcourt, that could help a lot, because you know you're looking at international trade. Do you think like Elon Musk has time to have whatever he wants to bring into the country just stay in Apapa for 1 month and have to be greasing palms to be able to do that? That doesn't make sense. But there's a lot of vested interest in our ports. And I think Tinubu can do something about it. He's a Lagos boy, right? So that's somewhere he can really assert himself,
He's a
So,
city boy. No, he's a city
Boy.
boy.
yeah, yeah. So that's somewhere he can assert himself, like decongest that port and just try to try to not be very narrow-minded in terms of don't think opening up maybe a Port Harcourt port and all of that might, as in if you don't do it you're punishing Igbos. Just do it. Do it. There's a lot of upsides to it. Do that. And then of course, if you can, the truth is if you can tackle the issue of the flow of international trade in terms of the ports authority and also
Mhm.
tackle the issue of electricity, if those are the two things, and then security that Tinubu can achieve, I tell you, Nigerians will be forever grateful to him. If just those
Mhm.
three things,
Forget
of course,
nepotism. That one we know is that one is a disease.
it will make up. It will make up. I wish. I mean, that nepotism. I really wish it would not
No,
make up.
nepotism.
Because
I think I've given
I
up on
think
nepotism. If you
yeah,
hear
yeah.
if
But
you hear the older generation talk about some of these things, you kind of just lose hope, man. Like
yeah,
you know,
no. Even
it's like
I even I even have more despair when I listen to young people talk about these things. I'm like,
no.
where?
Younger people get it. Get my point, right? Younger
No, no, no,
people.
no.
Okay.
Wait,
Okay. No. No. No.
see your
I want
comment.
to hear your side in terms of
See
like
your
why
see
not
your
young
comment
people don't
section.
get it.
Let me this last election, like my university group, like the group of people I went to university with in Nigeria, we used to have a lot of fun, banters in the group. But after this election, it's been a lot of animosity because you start seeing the way
Mm,
people think. Like
mm,
young people that you went to school together, ate from the same plate from. When it came to this
mm.
election, when you started seeing the kind of arguments they were making,
People you
it
you
was
expect
it was
so much from.
Yeah, it was really disheartening. I'll be honest with you. It was a lot of tribal, ethnic dog whistles, and I'm like, wow, it's really sad. But I want to quickly say something. Niger is a scam. Said something about his American co-workers telling me about something, and then someone in the comment section said, "Oh, that's a lie. Americans don't really know about things beyond their cities. They don't even know about their states." Well, some don't, but some do. I mean,
Some
I
do, yeah.
teach here. I teach here, and this is last semester. I came to class twice. I had students tell me things that were going on in Nigeria. Someone told me about the election. It was like, did your candidate win? Another one was telling me about the old Naira thing, Naira scarcity thing. And I was like, really? This guy is really know
And
about,
not to cut you off,
some.
Ed, most people don't understand that the interest in Nigeria is growing because of our music, because of some of the positive things
Yes,
and the
Some of
negative
yes.
things.
some of them have Nigerian friends.
No, I mean 1 in every 8 black people, I think it's a Nigerian. So it's actually
Yeah.
statistically close to accurate to say that every non-Nigerian has a Nigerian in its immediate or indirect or in its primary or secondary network. So
Mhm.
it's how many Nigerians are married to white ladies? Sorry, Ed, go ahead, finish your point.
Yeah. I mean, someone is still disputing that, but that was my experience. I had
No,
someone
no, no,
ask
no,
me,
it's fine. They
like,
can dispute it.
what's going on that people are talking about our currency being scarce in Nigeria? And I just looked at him and I was like, well, there's a political undertone to it. That's what I just told him.
Yeah, no, Timajek
But
is the
I
ultimate
know, but
devil advocate here. So don't worry, Timajek. If he's just don't worry about Timajek. Timajek is the
but
OG. He's a
Timajek,
real OG. So leave
Timajek,
Timajek.
I
He
know
can't do any
you
wrong
like.
right now. Honestly, just leave
Yeah,
Timajek.
yeah. I know Timajek has like loyalty to Tinubu, but let's try to be reasonable.
I
At the
don't
end of
think
the
so.
day,
I don't think so.
well,
I
well.
think he's
Oh
a
no,
devil's advocate.
he's always stampeding anybody that says anything
No,
about
Timajek
Tinubu.
is a
But
confused Agbadu.
No, I
but
don't
let's
think.
be
I don't
honest.
think. I don't think I
At the
would.
end of
I would easily just sweep Timajek under the carpet like that. I think Timajek. It's always good to have varying opinions, and some. I don't think he's confused. I don't think. I think
He's
Timajek is just
he's
kind
solely
of
insulting
having
people.
fun. First of all, I think he prioritizes fun. He wants to make fun at everybody, and then
okay.
sometimes he does make the odd, point or gesture or something like that, and just keeps the
Omo,
comment
It's
section.
it's fine.
comment
It's fine.
section.
He does
They are the
anything to
real
stir up trouble
vowelers.
there.
Yeah, it's fine. I
If,
mean, I
if
don't
the
have
comment section is
any hard
calm, he will look for something to say. So it might come across as an Agbadorian, but I don't think so.
okay, but it's fine.
Yeah, please
I'll
finish
let
your point.
others talk. I know you have to sleep now. Let others
Yeah,
talk.
yeah. No,
Tone.
no, no. Yeah, Tone. You have some final thoughts?
Ed, which state
Well,
are you?
He's a
who,
Benin
me?
man. Can't you see? He's a Benin man.
Who?
Huh?
Ed is a Benin
Which?
man.
No, which state are you? I can't hear
North
you.
Carolina. North
Oh, not.
Carolina.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
I thought you were saying in Nigeria.
I know
North
now. You know
Carolina.
they go
Where?
where
Durham. Where?
close to,
Raleigh.
close to. Yeah. That's where I am.
Raleigh. Okay. I've got family in Fayetteville. Yeah. So, anyways,
Okay.
go ahead.
I guess if I start talking again, I will start waffling like our president. I don't want to waffle like our president. I guess we've touched everything. It's just the simple things. If he will just be honest with himself, which is a big thing, and we stop attacking each other like stuff. I was speaking to Doctor over the weekend that you see all this behavior, people that come from like my brother one man will come and fire some, some racial. See, I've just said I'm not going to abuse anybody. I'm not going to use any
Tone, are you really
terrible
giving
language.
into like this, like Team Majek, one man? Have you read one man sometimes comes here and says fraud, this, that? Don't you think
Mhm.
there's a digital strategy to some of these things that they say?
Maybe, but at the same
Uh-huh.
time,
So
my
that's why I'm
thing
saying I
is
just
my
want you to kind of open that side too, because I don't
no,
think
no,
one
no.
man is that
My
stupid.
thing. Not
I don't
see.
think
See,
he's made too many
everybody.
mistakes for me to just
No,
feel like I begin to
No,
believe that actually he's becoming very deliberate. He's trying. He has a
yeah,
He has a
he has
line.
a strategy, but at the same
Exactly.
time,
So don't
you need to
buy into
respect.
if somebody's
You need
trying
to
to
respect.
get the clout or
Mhm.
get the attention to himself.
Yeah, but that's not
What,
the way you get attention to yourself.
but
You
some people
have
don't
to
know.
respect.
But some people no. See, like look at it this way. I'm sorry. Let's dig into this. Let's say you want to sell Coca-Cola to. Hey, I don't know. I'm going to be careful. You know, this sometimes you pick an analogy, people just take it somehow. Let's say you want to. What is forbidden in, or okay, what's forbidden in Arab countries? I was. Let's say
Alcohol.
yeah, let's say you want to sell alcohol in an
Mm-hmm,
Arab country, right?
mm-hmm,
Are
mm-hmm.
you going to go and outrightly go against, say, oh, you guys are wrong, alcohol is really good for you, or this? I think the first step you take, you say, oh, wait, I respect your opinion about alcohol, but look at it this way, and things like that. So my point is that I think some of them, their perception of the audience they are trying to capture is
Mm-hmm.
that they have to be negativity kind of drags people. We all know that. Like, that's the
Yeah.
reason why I'm talking about this. You know what I mean? Because he
No,
said
what
some
I'm saying,
things that you don't
Magistrate, you're
like
not
that
getting what I'm
piqued
saying.
you.
You're not
Go
getting
ahead,
what I'm
please.
saying.
Sorry.
Like this evening, let me give you an example. I mean, I said my bit about Tinubu, which I'm critiquing him. There was no insult or anything, even what I said expressly before I started that. I don't want to come out as being disrespectful to the president. And I said my bit. And this guy on the comment section says they refers to my father. Omo, I went to the comment section, gave him, and God helped him to push him to the panel. He showed his face, and I gave him I emptied the rest of the barrel on him, and he ran away. You don't do stuff
Okay,
like that. Huh?
monitor. Remember the day one man got dressed down for calling or appearing to suggest that Igbo people are clannish and insular,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Really?
If you follow the digital
Mm-hmm.
footprint and I take very big interest in some of these things. I think
Mm-hmm.
you might be laughing at him that he got dressed down or something like that, but he gained some things. Yes, he
No,
gains
the thing
notoriety.
is,
Notoriety in
is
social
that
media land
the thing, Magistrate, we
leads to
can all
certain
disagree. My thing is
metrics.
that we can all disagree and have a banter, but when it starts coming
No, this is
personal,
not banter.
come
This is
on,
business for
we,
certain
we
people.
can't be talking here, and
it's
I will say to Ayo,
not
I will say
emotion.
to AY rather, and say your papa. You know what it means. It connotes. I know
No,
it's
anyway,
not.
he
It's
didn't mean that.
disrespectful to my dad. You
I
can even tell me, Tone, you're a man for saying that. I won't take it personally.
So
It's
I'm
just
just
a
appealing
regular
to you.
for you to go that
Yeah, don't
far.
read too
That's
much
where
into these things.
we need to draw the line. Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
certain
it
things,
was really far away.
No.
So that's
What
just
I'm just saying is, even me, sometimes I have an off day, but at least let me just put it this way: I always, when I get myself, I'll be like, oh, you know what, actually messed up or something like that. Not everybody's like that. So, but you just have to kind of understand that these things can happen. You just don't take it. My appeal to you, I mean, I'm not, I'm not telling you you're a full grown adult. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm just suggesting that don't allow these things to get to your
no, no,
brain.
no. For
It
one
does
hand,
get to
I've
my
understood the
brain,
kind of
but
I understand his marketing skills. I mean, I've been on his last night. I was on his channel till about 3:30 last night. I mean,
I'm not
we are good.
doubting Tone's
We're good
concern.
now. Me and him, we are good. I know that before. I mean, he will come, he will give it to me. He said, "Where is that tin soldier?" I will say, "Yeah, I'll give it to." But we are good now. We are now
Exactly.
understand. So it's
So
just
that's where I look.
all I'm
I mean,
saying, mutual respect.
I respect Tim Ajek, One Man, all these guys. Exactly. I mean, it's
See
just
what
what
Team
it
Ajek
is.
wrote. Team Ajek
What?
is a very, it's very naughty. He said,
I
"Let me
don't take
ask
Tim
you this."
Ajek. I don't take Tim Ajek too seriously. I mean, I think he's just having fun. He just loves
Tima Jack
to.
is a joker, man.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
See
he
my
just
nephew
wants
will be-
to. I mean, he just wants to
Don't say he will
stir
send
up
you
the
Agbo.
whole.
Agbo, he will send you
He's doing a
Agbo.
good job in the comment section, by the way. Well done. So I mean, if there's no other pending thing to discuss,
I think we can.
I would
Yeah, I
like
think we can
to.
close it for the weekend. But let's see
Yeah.
more of you now.
No, there
Mas,
might be another live stream. Wait, hold on. Let me see.
I think we have they have this session tomorrow.
There might be another one. I think so. Maybe I think Forefathers or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So, anyways, thank you so much, Tone. Thank you so much, AY. Thank you so much, Ed. Ed, we still have to talk about our Greek
Comment section.
Aramaic thing. I still don't. I don't want to give
The thing
no.
without this
Seriously,
comment
I
section, this
went back
show
to
is
do my
not
research.
complete.
One of these days, we'll get the opportunity to talk about that because I still think
Ed, how far are you from Savannah, Georgia? Have you been there?
I don't really know. Let me just use Google to
Oh,
check.
it should be close.
Savannah, Georgia is at the.
Do you know TB Highland in North Carolina?
I just moved here this year. I don't know
Oh,
places.
okay. I don't think you'll be too far away from Savannah, Georgia. They
I
are
know
border
it won't be that far. I'm trying to see
It's a very
the map.
beautiful place. You are close
I
there.
hear
close
good
by.
things. I've never been to Savannah, Georgia, but
Yeah,
I hear
it's
good things
very
about it.
nice. Yeah.
They say they have some exotic hotels and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice boat cruise. It's an historical place. There
Yeah.
are
Okay.
beach around.
God keeping us alive there. We will travel.
It's about 5 hours by driving.
That's not too bad.
You far.
Yeah, it's
That's not too bad.
It's supposed to
drive.
be. It's closer to some part of North Carolina.
Yeah, maybe let's see, like all these
Because
fights.
I am in Canada.
Yeah.
I'm not Canadian though. But
where are you in Canada?
Me, I live in Halifax.
Oh, I used to live in Calgary. I
Ed,
live in
one of these
Calgary
days
for
I'll
some
come
time.
visiting when I'm in the States. At least I'll have places
Oh yeah.
I will visit.
Yeah.
That'll be great. I'll come and see
Tony, are you in the
first.
UK?
Yeah, I'm in London, man.
Yeah.
What part of London?
I'm in South London, Kent.
South London.
Camberwell.
Kent. I'm in Kent. Camberwell is the equivalent. Where would I think? That's where all the brothers.
The London is home, man. I love London, man. Seriously.
Sky, do you have snow yet?
No. Here, okay. See,
No, that
beauty.
should be like
No,
December.
seriously. I remember
Calgary sometime in
when
September, early September, you see snow.
my wife was the reason
Yeah,
why
for
we
real.
came here. My wife was the reason why we came here. We particularly chose this side. Just when I remember when we went to Calgary. Jesus Christ.
Yep, I live in Calgary for like 5 years.
Even Winnipeg, there was like XXXXX, and because she wanted to do a postdoc, right? So we chose this side because it kind of
Halifax is a good area though.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's
yeah.
low key. Imagine, okay, just it's what Enugu is to Lagos. That's what Halifax is to Toronto.
So when I visited, I went to New Brunswick, Fredericton.
Oh,
New Brunswick.
You went beautiful place. I've only been there once, but I want to go back. Where did you go, Moncton or Fredericton? I've been to Moncton.
I went to Fredericton, somewhere around the
I've never been to
University of New Brunswick, the university there. Yeah, so to see a friend.
I never been to those areas. Look,
man, it's very rural, very calm.
Anything that is taking me away from GTA, Calgary.
If you like Lagos or you miss Lagos, these places that he mentioned and the place I live may not be good for you.
No.
if you can't live in a place where like cars, like mostly civil servants, things go slow.
Nothing is going on in those areas. Calgary, in Canada, you only call like 5 cities. That's it.
Who told you?
Canada, they don't have cities.
Look well.
See my check saying I don't do the attend New Brunswick University. This guy
Calgary, Canada, they don't have much cities. They only have like 5 few cities.
No. Okay, I can
Lagos
say
Lagos is Toronto
Okay,
is the only place I look
I've
at
only
that.
lived. Okay, I came here. I said, oh, let me just have a look. 1 year, move back. But honestly, the amount of growth that has happened in this very small time that I've been here, like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Honestly, it is crazy. There are
Describe.
subdivisions that have opened. I'm just saying, like where I live, it's a new subdivision. Like there are subdivisions that have opened that there was so much bush in some of the areas that now we like casually just drive through, right? When we came.
Yeah,
So
it's always like that.
yeah, so I don't think it's fair to just say like nothing's happening here. Maybe like in the what's that place? All those Nunavut, Yellowknife, maybe. Yeah,
Yellowknife. Those are
yeah,
dead zone, man.
yeah. Well, I wouldn't,
Timad.
I wouldn't, I wouldn't go that far, but I think yeah, maybe to some extent, there's things are moving a lot slower there. But honestly, man, I think Canada is
Let me
is a
ask you a
sleeping
question.
giant. Is a
Mazi,
sleeping giant.
oh
Don't
God, why can't
don't
people
push
hear
over
me?
Canada yet. It's a sleeping
Mazi,
giant.
Is he supposed
Mazi,
to
Yes,
be a
sir.
sleeping
Sorry. Yeah,
can
giant?
you
sorry.
hear me? Can
Yeah,
you
I
hear
can
me?
hear
So,
you. Sorry. Sorry.
did you hear about the whole standoff between Canada and India?
Yeah.
Did you hear about it?
Yep.
Yes. You see, I don't know how to approach that whole thing, but you know, there's according to somebody that somebody actually talked to me about it. We went out for tea and everything. He was telling me about it. I didn't know anything about it, but one of the things he made me understand is that I think the prime minister, he's made some horrible mistakes. So yeah, that's
Of
his
Canada,
opinion. So
Mistake
of
how?
Canada,
No.
the Prime Minister of Canada.
yeah, I think he's made some.
No, he didn't make mistake. What do you what do you mean?
There's some precedents that it actually
How?
goes before this. I can't go into horrible. I think some of these things
No.
are like.
Look at this. He didn't make any mistake, to be honest.
Let me just say that the person is somebody I respect, and I feel like he made some point. But though it didn't really make awful sense to me, but he commands that level of contacts to be able to
Yeah,
say out.
because what happened, the guy that was killed, right?
Mm.
It before Prime Minister we say such thing, like there is a strong security
There was
report.
a time.
Period.
Okay, sorry. There's one key point I didn't mention. There was a time Justin Trudeau had uh, this trip to India or something like that, and he had quite a number of Indian people in his cabinet or something like that. There was something that happened that made this one a little ugly. But anyways, Chairman, I need to go, man.
Yeah,
This
it's fine.
this
Nice to
sleep
see you
this
again.
sleep is
All right,
not allowing me to think well. You can see I'm struggling to even get out those
no problem.
points. So let
All right,
me
Team
have a nice
Jack,
day, everybody.
you really had it today. Congratulations to you.
Timberjack, you won.
Listen,
Congratulations.
you guys have to just love Jack.
You got your
Everybody in the
trophy,
comment
man.
section. I clap for all of you. Thank you so much. You guys
All
are
right,
the reason why this show really, really, for some people it sucks. For some people it's great.
Some people want
Yeah.
some people want to be like at Dr. Damage's channel, but they can't be, They just
No,
have
no,
to
no.
look at their
That's
own
the
image.
thing. See, this is the thing with Dr. Damage is like I talked with him fairly regularly, and you have to give it to him, man. Like this is not about money. This is just he wants an
Passion.
open source of ideas. Like everybody, it doesn't matter. Even if you're talking or what seems to a set of people like rubbish, he doesn't care. Like just come air your view. And I think I think we're gonna, at some point, I think it's gonna make sense. Like people can come in and contribute, and it's
Yeah.
really, it's really amazing how he's doing. I
Last
watch other channels and I just see what there's a better, I would say like a structure aimed at something, not really necessarily better, but you can see like it's aimed at something, But here, it's all about people just airing their views, talking and
Yeah.
I'll be honest, it's driving towards something.
Yeah, that's how it has always been. Last week there
Mm.
was a new turn. So Passat was here telling Dr. Damages you need to make this Igbo channel. This is Igbo channel, blah, 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 Biafra channel. Then Dr. Damaji said,
No, that is the
Passat.
Nigerian.
He said, Passat, are you planning to open something like this? So I'm like, so do you know one or two persons you are supposed? I'm like, what's this guy talking about? Like, just let people discuss, let people share their view, respect people's view. Let
You know, also people who smoke Igbo come here sometimes,
if you
so
make
you
it
just
Igbo
give
this
them
thing,
chance.
it will be boring. Nobody will come here, man.
Sometimes you need to understand. Not everybody. Sometimes some people finish smoking some joint and they
I'm
go they
telling
open the
you, I
camera.
believe it. I believe it.
I think Pansat gets a lot of flack when it goes to one man's show, and it feels like, well, why not? As in,
Yeah,
why
you're
will he
bad.
come to
Yeah,
his own brother's show and
exactly.
not get
That's where
that
that's
kind
coming
of?
from. You got it,
So,
100%.
can you hear that? I think you have a point there, because the way he was saying it was like, this is an Igbo, more like because Rudolph is from
Yeah,
the
because Rudolph is an Igbo guy.
Rudolph like that is
Rudolph
not
is
my
from the same
intention.
states like him.
That
So,
was why, yeah. He said that is not why. He said we'll go to. They cannot come here. They use our platform. Rudolph was like, who? Which platform? Who are we? I love the way Rudolph actually answered him. Like, I don't think he would try it again. I mean, come on. I mean,
No, I think he also gets a lot of fun from it. Like, apart from,
that guy is controversial to the core.
yeah, he gets some
Guys,
humor from
He
it.
I'm
will
out.
just
It's
talk.
four.
All
It's
right,
4
guys.
a.m. here.
Tom, take care.
All right,
Take
guys.
care.
Have a good
We'll
one.
just
Yeah.
slowly wrap it
Bye.
up. No, not much. We'll slowly wrap it up. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you
Yeah.
guys
Take care.
sometime.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're a sensible thinker and you're a critical thinker, you should subject your own thoughts to the most intense critical analysis possible, knowing that if you put forward second-rate thoughts, you'll act them out, and that will cause you no end of grief. And partly what we're supposed to do in university is teach people to subject their own thoughts to a multiplicity of critical perspectives so that there's nothing left but wheat, right? So the chaff disappears.